OSIM.
Or get arrested.
This will sting. You have my word.
私は強くなるんだ。そのためなら何だって。自分の良心に従って人を助ける。オーラってやつは隠してもにじみ出るもんだからな。
Who is the best looking player in MPLSG?
Oh wait. I know.
Oh,
I know. No, I know this one is the goat. Oh, this is the goat.
okay. You sure easiest or not? Easy or hard?
Best looking player.
Oh, this is the goat.
This one eh. Handsome boy. Handsome boy.
Ken from Vanguard. I think we're getting some. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 2, 1.
这个哟，这个 I don't know what to say.
3, 2, 1.
Must. Didn't he have a different name?
Can you write the current name?
Okay. Oh, easy game, bro.
Huh? Oh. Like you say the old name or the new one?
The answers? Okay.
So easy ah.
Wow. Start this one.
What's the old name? Dante.
Thought Dracula.
3, 2, 1. Technically both correct.
Oh, okay.
What the heck?
Wow, this one I know.
Okay.
Oh.
2, 1. Eudora's correct.
Yeah. That time her skin color, the basic one was red, bro.
I forget
Eudora.
Oh, wait, bro.
Okay.
Tapi je kan EXO.
Ah, tak ada.
3, 2, 1. Slow.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of this skin, bro. But then I'm like, look like a girl skin.
But it's veil because of the wind. Oh no.
There's no way. There's not too long.
Yeah, mage.
Oh wait. Oh, I know.
Should be this one.
I hate this hero, bro.
I got my answer.
Okay.
Ah. Okay. Huh?
Wait.
Like a universe, ah.
Who's that familiar? eh?
Oh, okay. Let's see whether it's correct.
This one is, you can't even guess it. It's near impossible.
Oh,
You know the light orb?
yeah.
They super zoom into it, bro. I'm done.
Okay. Can we do our close? Okay, correct. Look at the correct answer.
Wow, I forgot about that hero, bro.
Supposed to be your main, your main.
Because he got one.
I wanted to guess the Ellie special skin, but then like I realized
he said
that powers was not like featured in the pocket.
Yeah, but he said it was default skin.
Yeah, that's not to be a default skin.
Universe, ah.
Do not
Ah.
Bro, I thought it's Cyclops.
See, bro.
Oh.
Oh, deluxe. Okay.
The first player to guess blue, eh? The first player to guess blue. Because of the yellow skin, right?
Oh.
Why you don't know? Yeah, you're not me.
A crispier chicken McCrispy? So much crispier. Bite into an even crispier crunch with the improved Chicken McCrispy. Now, wouldn't that be nice? Osim.
Or get arrested.
This will sting. You have my word.
私は強くなるんだ。そのためなら何だって。
自分の良心に従って人を助ける。オーラってやつは隠してもにじみ出るもんだからな。
Who is the best looking player in MPLSG?
Oh wait. I know.
Oh.
I know. No, I know this one is the goat. Oh, this is the goat.
You sure easiest or not? Easy or hard?
Best looking player.
This one eh. Handsome boy. Handsome boy.
Ken from manga. I think we're getting some. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Three, two, one.
这个呀，这个 I don't know what to say.
3, 2, 1.
Must. Didn't he have a different name?
You write the current name.
Okay.
Oh, easy game, bro.
Huh? Oh. Like you all say the old name or the new one?
The answers?
Okay. So easy ah.
Wow.
What's the old name? Dante.
I thought Dracula.
3, 2, 1. Technically both correct.
Oh, okay.
What the heck?
Wow, this one I know.
Wait.
MPLSG Season 7 is brought to you by Moontan Games and Zenway Productions. Presenting partner, McDonald's. The road to glory has never been tastier with McDonald's. Catch all of the MPLSG Season 7 action and complete the experience with a crispier crunch with the new and improved Chicken McCrispy with Mac Delivery. Youth partner, Scape. Partner in esports, OSIM. Level up your performance with OSIM's patented V-hand massage technology and ergonomic features designed with the player's comfort in mind. Welcome one and all right here to MPLSG Playoffs Day 3. Now right here today, we will be seeing our ultimate champion emerge victorious, taking the crown for MPLSG Season 7 and heading over to the MSC 2024 to represent Singapore over on the international stage. Once again, my name is Cheryl and I'm so excited to be alongside with you to witness this momentous occasion. Now here today, right here at MPLSG Season 7, we have seen 8 teams enter this competition. And right now before us, the top 3 stands. As we speak, let's take a look at the upcoming match schedule. Here on your respective screens, ladies and gentlemen, the final 2 matches that will conclude MPLSG Season 7. Opening up the show, we see Match 7, the lower bracket finals, where it is RSG SG duking it out with Bleed Esports happening at 10 a.m. Thereafter, the moment that we have all been waiting for, the victor of Match 7 will head on up to the grand finals to duke it out with NIP Flash, our defending champions, at 5 p.m. Wow, what an exciting lineup. And based on statistics in the regular season, the top 3 seeds are also our current top 3 teams. So it is a very exciting day ahead of us. Will data and statistics prevail, or will there be a surprise upset when it comes to the result? Let's stick around and find out. Starting off with match 7 of the day, presenting to you the 2 teams starting off first with RSG SG. The boys are standing before us. Now, this is a position that they're all very familiar with right here in the competition, taking the top 3 sports. But will they cause a surprise upset and take this win from Bleed Esports? Let's stick around and find out. Going up against RSG SG, presenting to you Bleed Esports. Even being in the 2nd seed spot in the regular season, Bleed Esports has found themselves in a tumultuous situation. Now, the playoff seasons haven't been easy for them, but it seems as the games goes, they have found their momentum. Will they keep this going and take this win from RSG SG? Now, this is a rematch of match 2 right here at MPLSG playoffs. So, who will emerge victorious? Will RSG SG continue their 2-0 win, or will Bleed Esports cause a surprise upset and take this win over RSG SG? Let's find out and hand our time over to the casters. Take it away, boys.
conclusion of MPL Season 7, the final day. I'm your caster, Moman, and joined with me are my fellow co-casters, Holler and Jays. Well, today we have the exciting series of Bleed versus RSG. Whoever wins today will fight the defending champions, NIP Flash. And it's going to be crazy, right? Both teams, they have so much to do. And RSG, they've been in this position so many times. Bleed, we didn't expect them to be here, but they are here nonetheless. And top 3 for all 3 of them so far. Both teams have been performing so stellarly. But before that, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Gotta take this opportunity.
Yeah, of course. So, Holler.
Yeah.
What do you think about this matchup today?
Well,
you saw the teams.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them yesterday. We saw a lot of growth in both of them. I mean, unfortunately, RSG kind of faltered going up against the Titan that is NIP Flash. But, you know, it was one of those other series where Bleed Esports kind of, the whole thing with Asterisk was very interesting. We saw a lot of growth going into this one. But this is first, let's talk about RSG first. This one's going to be, of course, Closer, Brayyy, GodZilla, Derry, CS. This is a star-studded lineup. You know, I think coming into this one, there was a lot of question marks, but they've kind of proven themselves to be stars. I'm excited to see what they can do going into this lower bracket finals here.
Yeah, it's anyone's game at this point. You see, these are the teams that we've been seeing. These are the players that we've been seeing so far. They've been improving steadily since the regular season, and now into playoffs, they are on the last foot right here. And Bleed will be coming up next. So, Jace, can you run me through the members of Bleed real quick?
Yeah, my pleasure. Bleed will be represented by Sagitnu in the XP lane, Yon in the jungle, Jay in the mid lane, Gear the roam, and of course the farmer Seiji in the gold. Don't forget the artist Jay as well. He's been doing an amazing job keeping the team in check and also just outputting the damage like crazy. You saw one of the damage chart yesterday was 160k damage in one of the games. It's like twice the amount of the average of everybody else.
Yeah, it's insane coming out from Team Bleed at this point. Seiji, of course, one of the highest GPMs.
Yep.
CS will be also his matchup as well. So CS not performing too well at the start, but he had a slow start. And Bleed might be having the same as well. It feels like they're having a slow start, but they feel like they're having and finding their footing right now. But RSG, there's been a lot of formulas in and out. They've been the comeback kings of this season so far. They've been taking one game away. Then afterwards, only 2-1. RSG coming out of nowhere. And now we will be looking at their stats really soon. But can we tell a bit more about RSG?
Okay, there's a lot of interesting stats about RSG, but the biggest one is, of course, that they're the only team to have taken off a single game off NIP Flash. Right, that's the biggest win. So going into this one, are they able to do that again? Do they have the right strategy in mind? We're gonna have to find out. Maybe they're saving strats from yesterday to bring it into today, hopefully. But what sticks out to me on this screen right now, if we're talking about KDAs, I think the assists from Derry's perspective is the biggest one. I talked about this yesterday about Derry being kind of, it's very hit or miss. When he hits though, RSG is on fire.
Yeah, Derry has been surprising me this entire season, right? We mentioned him on the hard support, on the Grok, but he's doing so well on the Angela as well. We've seen him on the Florin as well, and he's shown a lot of versatility. And Brayyy and Closer CS, they have all stepped up. GodZilla being the pivot that he is for RSG, but now we'll be heading towards Bleed stats. Can you run me through this, Jace?
Yep, so once again, Bleed stats, I think what we have to take a look is not only just about the numbers, right? I'm looking at preferred heroes from both these two teams. In fact, Seiji prefers his carry, and in fact, if you give him the Roger, you know he's going to farm heroes instead of farming minions. Then you also got Gear and Sagitnu. Both of them prefers the R-Lot, right? So which means that Coach G will definitely abuse this to its fullest, right? Because after that, he can always switch Sagitnu back into his Paquitos or being back into other EXP laners, right? But apart from that, we also have to talk about Jay. This guy has one of the widest hero pools in the mid lane until GodZilla brought up the Terizla in the mid lane. So right now, you're talking about the mid lane matchup between Jay and also GodZilla.
Yeah, Jay and GodZilla, right? GodZilla, we know him as the Kadita, the premium Kadita ban. You know, you gotta ban Kadita against GodZilla no matter what. We have seen teams that have respected his Kadita so much, and with the Kadita comes the Kaja as well. And we know Derry on the Kaja is extremely scary. So whether these teams figure each other out in the banning and drafting patterns is going to be extremely important. And of course, I feel that drafting is, of course, 30% of the game right there. With that, with what you draft, you definitely might have an upper hand in the game, a lower hand in the game. But still, execution, very important. And we saw yesterday Gear stepping up. He was extremely versatile on the roam role. He played Novaria. He played so many different heroes. And it goes back to his statement from the first few days of regular season, right? Gear, stick to your roles. And he doesn't need to stick to the role. And let's just see what the audience thinks about RSG versus Bleed today.
Ooh, yes, I love this.
So RSG and Bleed, very even, 55% to 45%. What do you feel about this, Holler?
To be honest, I feel the exact same way. I was not entirely sure of who's going to take this one out. I think they're very evenly matched teams. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, but it's going to kind of come down to who really wants it. I do feel like this is going to go the distance. I think we're going to see a Game 5. So if you want to see a lot of MLBB, tune in today because it's going to happen all day today.
Yeah, not only just that, grab your friends down to Escape as well. We want to literally light up this place on fire. I mean, light this place up with the fiery passions of MLBB as well, because we'll be here for a long, long time. So if you guys are around in the area as well, head on down to Escape, which is actually like closest MRT is Somerset as well.
Yeah, so just head on down, see us live, and see our predictions live as well. So apparently I'm the only one rooting for RSG today.
Again, I was kind of mixed. And to be honest, I probably, after yesterday's change, I probably would have gone 3-2. I did say that earlier, that I think it's going to go to a Game 5. I'm not seeing one of the teams just like way more of an advantage going into this one, right? It's very evenly matched.
That's right. And don't forget, ladies and gents, this is once again a callback back in the good old days when it's a El Clasico that we always like to say, the actual derby, the old derby of MPL Singapore, right? It's RSG going up against Bleed, albeit slightly different name tags, but you can feel the essence there. Both these two teams are looking to prove themselves on this stage to face the final boss, NIP Flash.
Yeah, the members have changed, but the identities of these teams remain the same. But now we'll be heading towards the drafting phases of this game. And now we have the Harith, the Helkert, and the Roger already being taken out of the pool. Pretty standard bans going in so far. But of course, with the Angela being taken out as well, we saw Derry performing extremely well on the Angela so far. And of course, Loyi has to be taken out for Jay. But there are a lot of things to consider when it comes to these two teams. They have shown a lot of versatility. If you think about it, Arlott is still in the pool, Novaria is still in the pool.
Yes, I'm really liking what Bleed has decided to ban right here. They ban away the Xbox, which is something that Brayyy has been playing all throughout. And unfortunately, a lot of these teams did not realize that, hey, he's been a little bit too proficient on this Xbox. He can step in and also absorb so much damage, and after that he can regen it all the way back. So it's a very low commitment hero, and I'm so glad that Coach G identified that was one of the biggest problems facing RSG. I think it was just yesterday or something, right? Just a few days ago. And they decided to take it away. I love it.
Yeah, and now we have the first pick for RSG, which will be Moskov. Piloted by CS, of course. And Seiji, I mean, there is still, technically, you can still play the carry against it, you can still play the Cloud against it in the late game matchup, but you won't have that similar mobility instead of joining the lineups. But for them, the Novaria will be a premium choice, and they do pick it. And the Fredrin as well for Yon. I was expecting an assassin matchup today because it was Yon versus Brayyy. You know, when you talk about Yon versus Brayyy, I mean, you always expect that little possibility of that assassin matchup. But for RSG, they will have to answer for this. Novaria, I mean, it can be piloted by Jay as well. It's a flex pick for Bleed, right? So Novaria on Gear is extremely strong. Novaria on Jay will be a problem to deal with as well. But RSG pulling out the Esmeralda already. Esmeralda, we see it being a very proficient tool in handling the Fredrin, very good at frontlining as well. Sustainability is there. The damage output is there as well, depending on the build, whether she goes for the Stardom Scythe or whether she goes for the Enchanted Talisman first. And of course, the goal laner of choice will be carry. Following that, we will have the last two bans from each team. What do they have to take out here?
The biggest takeaway from yesterday's series, Bleed Asterisk, was that the carry was a menace. Almost every single team that chose the carry ended up, I think they had like a 75% win rate, which is very high considering. But it's one of those moments where, this carry, does it actually stack up against the Moskov? Are you able to just kind of attack at free will, right? That's the biggest thing. If they're able to find a way to get on and to jump the carry, RSG will have a good time.
And there we have it. Kaja being taken out. Yeah, you were talking about the carry being one of the menaces, right? But it was in a fact where it wasn't against a Moskov.
Yep.
Yeah, so Moskov, in terms of later game, he does have that linear AoE as well. You can deal damage towards the back. And of course, a very, very scary late game marksman to deal with. And taking away the Kaja, taking away the Minotaur, mean a lot of control for the side of the marksman.
Right.
So that will prove to be a very good factor.
Yeah, the one thing I like about this draft thus far by Bleed is that, aside from the carry, it's going to be the goal laner, but the Novaria is, again, very flexible. Fredrin could technically flex as well between, the XP and the jungle. So you have a little bit more freedom moving into this last phase. RSG tends to be a little bit more locked in with what they're going to be doing. They're kind of showing what they have, a little bit more static in that sense. So really the adjustments, if they get caught off guard by something, by Bleed, RSG might have a bad time. But it really comes back to this drafting that you're talking about, this 30% edge, right, going into this one. It's going to be super interesting in this last phase.
Yeah, and taking away the secondary frontliners, taking away the Minotaur, taking away the Grok,
Yep.
Esmeralda will not have that much space to play with, will not have that much space to jump around. And with that, the Ruby pick with I'm Offended, it's going to be extremely strong in repositioning the Valentina, repositioning the Moskov to its will, and we'll see who it's piloted by. Most likely, I feel that it will be by Sagitnu, because I feel that the EXP Ruby will be much stronger than the roaming Ruby right here. But wow, we have the Alpha coming out from RSG. So Brayyy on the signature hero once again.
Yeah, he loves this hero, right? Alpha, very good on the Alpha. Brayyy, that is. It's one of those things where you don't see a whole lot of Alpha with the other teams, but RSG tend to find to make it work, right? It's something that Brayyy can do. And I don't know if it's the player or the hero or what, but Brayyy is very good on it.
Yeah, and they don't, lacking the frontliners, right? The only Edith is available, maybe Tigreal as well. So for the roaming tankies, support that they need, they don't have the Minotaur, they don't have the Grok, they opt for the Edith. Very good at shredding down the Fredrin. Still extremely good choice against the carry as well. RSG, with that final ban, they did take out the Dyroth, which was obviously a possibility for Bleed as well, into bursting down the Esmeralda as much as possible. But still, Bleed, they still have a lot of options available for Gear or Sagitnu if they're trying to flex the Ruby, and for Jay and Gear as well if you're trying to flex the Novaria. Bleed, they have such an open lineup, they have such a flexible lineup. You've seen them play multiple versatile roles, so it's extremely hard to see what they will pick here, and it will decide the pace of the game right here.
Okay, looks like it's going to be the Arlot here. We know that they can play it very flexible as well, but as a last pick, how do you feel about this one, Jace?
Personally, I feel like there's a lot of big ultimates that Valentina could easily take. Now you got I'm Offended, you got a Find a Slash, and not only just that, you also have the Novaria's ultimate to take. So right now, if you're a GodZilla, you spot for choices. But RSG, this is a massive lockdown comp, right? You have the combination of Alpha, Esmeralda out, Edith to a certain extent with your onwards, and the knock up as well. There's a lot of CCs that RSG is throwing and Bleed need to respect. So the way that Bleed needs to work around this is to be a lot more mobile. Therefore, the Novaria, the Arlot, they could dash around, the Ruby, they can also dash around as well. Stagey's positioning is going to be important going into this game.
And Gear on the Arlot, Sagitnu will be playing the Ruby. And now we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be heading towards MPL Season 7, the lower bracket finals of Bleed versus RSG. Best out of 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go. This is what we wanted. This is the lower bracket finals. Loser goes home, unfortunately. But going into this one, okay, lineup, you know, you look at them, who has the easier time?
In terms of execution, I feel that Team Bleed, they do have the easier cookie cutter execution, right? For Team RSG, it's a lot onto these team fights, a lot on key targeting as well. They have to pick off Jay no matter what. The poke damage coming out from the Meteor will be extremely pivotal. So extremely scary for the side of RSG. For Team Bleed, I feel that, yeah, it's just tried and tested. Yeah. Final Slash, you have I'm Offended, a lot of repositioning available.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think Jay will have any issues. We know he's very potent on the Novaria. He's like one of the top damage dealers in MLB, right? At SG, there's MPLSG, that is. So he's quite good. He understands what he needs to do. Again, he needs to just be very consistent. Yes, there's a lot of pressure on him, but I think it really comes back to how do these team fights go? Like, who's going to start the fight? How does that wombo, like the secondary initiations, like all of that stuff is going to be super important here.
Yeah, the main initiation here, front foot, most likely will be Bleed. They have the tools for the catch. They have the Final Slash. They have the Energy Eruption as well as I'm Offended. RSG most likely will be playing reactive because Spear of Destruction, you don't want to use it first, right? You don't want to send your Moskov first. Derry, if you're going to send him and he gets shredded down, that's all your tank ability gone. And Closer will not be able to join these early game team fights as much. And Derry will be going for this.
There's going to be an onward, not just that. Brayyy enters with the ultimate yawn, a lot of great hell, and Brayy's red doesn't connect. Brayyy still a little dog right here. CS is trying to clean it up. Gear will be able to pick up Brayyy instead. Seiji has to go all the way, but CS is on the chase. He will be sending the spears one after another onto Seiji. 2 members down for the price of 3. But it's going to be RSG that emerge a little bit more victorious as well. Both these two teams, it goes to turtle.
Yeah, bloodbath coming out at the start of the game. Already 3-2. CS will be ahead instead of Seiji. So he does have the level 4. He does have the Spirit Destruction available for this turtle fight as well. Very good initiation coming out from Derry. Identifying that in the early game, right? Brayyy, he does have the true damage available. So we'll be able to take out Yon before the Appraisal's Wrath. Very good timing, very good call from Team RSG. Going for the throats right there. Jerry, once again,
Derry, where is this confidence coming up from this dude? He's making the plays, but Yon still secures the turtle for himself. Brayyy will trade for Sagitnu instead, but Gear picks up a killing spree, and that's A-okay. A little bit more momentum goes into the Bleed's hand, and that's how they equalize against that first fight.
I love it how things are playing out already. Here, he's got 3 kills. I mean, he's just the roamer, but it's a thing where you need to respect where he is, right? Gear on the Arlot is another level. He's very good on this hero. He ensures that he repositions you, he's got the damage, and he can blow you up. What else do you want?
Yeah, and what's surprising is that CS, he did have the Spirit Destruction. It did land, but he did not go into the team fight. He did not try to equalize as well, prioritizing the farm at the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, he does not have the items to go into Ruby. He does not have the items to go into Gear. Most likely will die. And now Brayyy in a bit of trouble.
Brayyy taking a lot of damage and a lot of punishment. Gear will secure that. Gear's on a mega kill right here, and he's on the rope.
Yeah, 4-4 will be the score, ladies and gentlemen. 700 gold lead still for RSG though. Bleed, they will have to catch up in terms of macro. CS is ramping up. I mean, Seiji will not have a good time in this lane at all.
Gear's like, I'm the carry now. Look at me. I mean, I'm going to take all the kills. I'm going to do everything. But you got to respect him. You got to understand where he is at all points. He's got great vision. He understands the flow of the game. He understands, even in the top lane, it's like he hasn't even been spotted out, right? So he needs to be where he needs to be at all times.
Yeah, that's key positioning coming out from Gear. I mean, we were talking about him coming into this MPL, changing into this roam role, right? And Gear, he has been performing so well, showing just prowess on the Arlot, on the Novaria, any form of roam that you can give him, he can play as well, and he is the stable factor for Bleed right now.
All right, one thing to take note of is that, yeah, while CS didn't go in with that one team fight, he hit the spear, but he's a level behind Seiji. Seiji right now currently probably out farming him at this point, considering he's got the XP. Something to take note of, I don't think it's the end of the world, but CS is going to need more time to get to Super Saiyan level. He needs to farm.
Yeah, both marksmen will be going for the Holy Trinity, right? Most likely.
Derry? Ooh, conceal. Nice flicker reaction coming off from Jay though. Will respond with the ultimate, and there he's taking a lot of trouble. And Closer right here trying to just spread the damage, but look at the members of Bleed. They're just ignoring him. Brayyy spreading out the damage, but they've already lost one.
Yeah, it's falling into the mid game now. 5 minutes in, Brayyy does not have enough burst damage to just pop away one of Bleed members. But
Gear still should be okay, but okay, Jay's damage coming for Equalize. GodZilla flickers away to safety.
Yeah, it's just a key battle spell. Used. Jan will be using the Appraisal's Wrath on the turtle. So GodZilla does burn the flicker, but secures the turtle for the side of Bleed.
Playing very, very well. This is what Bleed did yesterday, right? Playing objectively, understanding the flow of the game, got that second turtle, put themselves in. And this is all because of the pressure that Gear has been doing. We've been, talking about him a lot, but he's just making plays. He knows he's not going to get the kill mid, but he's expending like the flickers of the enemy teams. Like, you have to respect where he is at all points. And it's kind of getting to the point where Gear, again, he's the carry at this point. He's very scary.
Yeah, and it's about time where RSG, they have the macro game available already. They have taken down the top turret. So they are still at a 1k gold lead, but they have not been able to secure any objectives so far. Once they have the key items, once they hit the power spike, I feel that they will go for this team fight. And Esmeralda, once she's online, it will be extremely scary for Fredrin to deal with. He cannot frontline anymore. And Jay will have to just play very, very safe.
Yeah, and it looks like there's going to be a lane swap. CS going into the bottom lane now, but he's got friends here on the other end.
Not only just that, conceal play right here by taking a lot of punishment right here. Yon step in, energy eruption. Brayyy gets taken down by Jay as Gear swipes air, but CS will no longer be long for this world. Gear snipes him up.
Yeah, 2 kills for the side of Bleed, and that's a flicker burnt for the side of CS as well. Without any key objectives, they still go for the conceal, they still go for the timing, and they do get the top tier turret as well. And that's just economy just swinging back for Bleed. That's a lot of key momentum gain. This would mean that they have map control up top as well. And with the upcoming turtle, Jan will have a much better time in fighting this. Still, Closer, he has not been joining these team fights. Once he joins these team fights, I mean, the pace of the battle might change.
Oh, that's going to be outcome. Once again, Derry gets caught. Right here, Brayyy tries to land down damage like he knew right now. Bunching bags. Flickers it back out to safety. Brayyy goes in with the ultimate at the same time. But the taunt will prevent him from actually stepping forward. But he'll be taking somebody down. CG become a double kill right here. Closer on the chase. Onto Gear as well. And Gear desperately trying to stay alive. Flickers back on the other side just to try to juke. But that's a good play.
Yeah, things weren't looking too good for RSG as Closer felt closer and closer to death, but CS did manage to finish the kill. And now 6-9 will be the score as mid turret will be threatened right now. GodZilla in a slight bit of tiffle, but will be disengaging from the side of Team Bleed.
All right, the kill score, nice.
Nice.
Nonetheless, we've got a 2-for-1. The only thing is that Gear dying right now is that, yeah, he's the roamer, but he had a 5-kill streak, right? It is one of those things you don't want to kind of unload that onto anybody right now, especially, I think he died to Closer, right? So,
yeah, and if you take a look at the equipment, yeah, both marksmen, they are going for the Holy Trinity, and now the Lord will be up for the taking. I would have to favor this towards Team Bleed right now, right? Because they do have the battle spells available as well. Jan is still extremely tanky factor to deal with. Derry has not been dealing too well with the poke coming out from Jay.
Look at the backside. Closer just waiting in the wings, forcing something out, but this is I mean, Jan, he eventually is going to get, like, disrupted by the Esmeralda here, by Closer. So something you need to take note of. Do you want to push the momentum a little bit earlier so that you don't have to deal with the Esmeralda late? Kind of force her to have a bad game, so to speak? Or do you want to just kind of play it a little bit slow and play cautiously?
Yeah, you got to play cautiously right now, right? Closer, he has not been dying.
Jay will not be able to connect. Derry will be able to land it down. Sekino drags Derry all the way, but he goes into human form. JJ shreds him down. The light wheels doing all the work. And Gear stepping forward right here. Closer has to retreat. Jay will review everybody. And RSG loses one at the Lord Pit.
Yeah, Derry just falling short of the initiation. Could not find the knockup with the flicker. I mean, RSG, they still have 4 members. They can still fight for this Lord. Closer does have his ultimate available still.
I don't like that play by Derry there.
Yep, Flicker will be able to catch Ray. Unfortunately, he's getting busted down by Seiji as well. Gear will be delivering his life over the side of Bleed. Seiji picks up a mega kill. The Spear of Destruction doesn't land, and Bleed walks away with the Lord.
Oh man, what a great fight by Bleed right there. Finding Brayyy a little bit off the mark, just going in for this, and yet another kill going the way of Gear. I mean, if anyone woke up and it was just like, I choose murder, it was this dude.
Yeah, Gear, he has been performing these final slashes.
He's online, bro.
To a T, man.
He's so online.
Oh my god. I mean, with that, I have to talk about Jay as well, right? He has been landing these meteoroids again and again onto RSG. They've been not able to find any space.
In that awkward position right here, looking for a pickoff right here, sending the Lord down to deal with the turret. Nice defense coming up from RSG. They'll survive for just a little while longer.
And Jay, he has been threatening this space again and again on this Novaria, left unchecked 2-1. I mean, they did get him once, but maybe that one time is all it takes. You know, you got to get him one more time, maybe.
Yeah, and one of the things to take note of is that Seiji and Jay, off of the momentum that Gear has provided, has just been like 4-1-4, 2-1-8, both of these guys, right? So the amount of damage that they do, if Derry goes in, if Brayyy goes in, they just literally blow them up.
Brayyy?
Brayyy, where are you?
Sure. The battle of the Child Prodigy once again. I'm not too sure what he's going to do there. Both these two players are looking for redemption, but it seems like Gear is one-upping this dude.
Yeah, RSG, they were trying to connect onto Brayyy, but they just decided that, yeah, he is a lost cause. He is too far into enemy territory. You don't want to overextend at this point. Bleed, they do have a 3K goal lead, but it still can be slowly depreciated from the side of Team RSG. They just have to wait for a mistake for the side of Team Bleed, and it looks like it's the game to lose at this point. Team Bleed, they have a chokehold on the game. I mean, so much map control. All other turrets have been taken. The buffs will be theirs.
The other thing that Bleed does really well is that when they play well with a lead, assuming they can get it, sometimes they're like in yesterday's series, they kind of struggled in the early game. They had to come back and they had to play that style of MLBB. Not the greatest, right? But this one, when they do get that lead, they hardly relinquish it. So they understand what they need to do, and they play very smart, understanding the creep waves.
Yeah, good point right there, Holler. If you notice, Bleed always had this issue of closing out the game, right? And now, this is their biggest problem. Yes, they can get this lead. Now, I want to see how Bleed closes this out.
Yeah, it's going to be extremely hard still for Bleed to close it out, given the fact that they have a Moskov, they have a Valentina in the back line. That's a lot of AoE damage. That's a lot of true damage coming out as well from Brayyy as well. So it's going to be extremely scary to deal with. They don't want to overcommit here, but Astral Echo from Jay.
Free view. Oops, Sagit Noob flickers. I'm offended. Will not be able to connect. RSG will be able to walk off this one.
I'm offended by that flicker. Not good.
I see what you did there, bro.
But Astral Echo from Jay, he has been taking up so much space, right? On this character, Novaria, giving it to Bleed just seems like just a bad move.
It's kind of impressive to see how Jay is using this Novaria, right? Not only just that, he's also landing down the damage, he's also opening up the map. So it frees up Gear's responsibilities as well, right? Now he could just focus on setting up the kills instead. Speaking of setting up the kills, that's I'm offended. No way for GodZilla to run.
Oh, I loved that. I'm offended because he caught him out, caught
redeemed
GodZilla.
himself.
And now, I mean, this looks to be like a free lord for Bleed. I mean, nothing really RSG can do.
Yeah, they shouldn't be fighting this year, not without GodZilla at least, and they will be giving up the Lord to Team Bleed right here. Not looking too good at all for Team RSG. They will have to turtle up. I mean, try to just take as many mistakes from Bleed as much as possible.
I think the biggest part of this issue that RSG has had is that Derry's been initiating first. I feel like Closer or maybe even Brayyy, you kind of, you start the fight, let everybody kind of jump onto you and then group up, and then Derry comes in with a nice Earth Shatter, right? You need to combo that in as opposed to Derry trying to fish out for that perfect Earth Shatter with the Flicker play or whatever, and then he's just been getting blown up by Seiji, so he really hasn't had that time to kind of really shine and control the fights.
Yeah, with the Lord marching down, I mean, it's up to this mid-game decision-making right now. Should Derry be in the front line? I don't feel so, right? It should be Closer, it should be Brayyy. But now, it feels like RSG, they want Derry to be in the front line no matter what, and it might be their undoing right here, or it might just be the play of the game.
Yep, Seiji Working on the turret in the mid lane right now. The Lord's being sent down bottom lane. RSG clears up mid for now. Members aggregating around, just meeting up. They'll be able to take down bottom lane turret for now.
Another thing is that what is GodZilla been able to steal? Like his IMUs? Like there's really nothing that you're kind of like, I need to get X spell. Like a Nether Realm or, you know, some other, you know, there's just really nothing that he can really do. I haven't seen a good steal throughout this entire game though.
Unpopular opinion, but GodZilla just got caught.
Yep, unpopular opinion is that Yon is just waiting right there. The Light Wheels will be able to connect Derry right here, just working on the wave clear. And now it's going to be a barren wasteland for the side of RSG to defend against. Yon stepping forward right here. And also the energy eruption closer. It has to run away to a destruction land. But here gets assassinated by Brayyy. And Derry's still forward right now. This could be the time for RSG to snap back. Derry goes into human form, but he's not going to be able to withstand the damage coming out from Bleed. Gear will be the sacrificial lamb. RSG taking down names. 2 members down.
Clean up aisle 3. We're gonna have to clean up that one on closer. Just a really nice play by Jay right there.
Yeah, this is me, Jay. I'm coming to clean it up. Yeah, okay. 1 kill at a time for Jay.
Yeah. But, okay, one thing is that Brayyy was going ham on Gear. They were forcing the one-on-one. Gear was kind of caught out. He actually just tried to flicker to get back to his teammates, but none of his teammates were really close enough to help him. So Gear getting caught out, and then that kind of started the snowball for, you know, RSG to kind of bounce back into this game.
But at what cost? Because 3 inhibitor turrets already gone for Bleed. That's a lot of lane pressure. They will have to fight for this Lord no matter what. Maybe take early skirmish perhaps, but they do not have any conceal available right now. And the Astral Echo, it has been proving time and time again to be a problem for Team RSG because Bleed, they have been consistently scouting it out with Jay. And it's just extremely scary to deal with, right?
Jay is that kind of dude that pulls down the curtain when you're showering, right? RSG is just preparing for an ambush and everything, but it's always getting scouted out by Jay.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just trying to shampoo here, and Jay's Astro Echo!
Yeah, I see everything.
Guys.
A lot of intel being given over, and like what I said, it just frees up Gear's role as a roam to basically just, okay, I just go in for the sex.
Look at this. Jay once again just single-handedly stopping the entire push.
CS!
Whoa!
What spear of destruction takes Bleed's sword away?
Okay.
Wow.
We have a game on our hands.
Okay. I don't need an echo to see where the Lord's at in terms of life. I will just game sense it and just take it out myself. But that was clutch by CS.
What was the percentage? What are the chances of throwing the spear of destruction just to steal away the Lord? RSG has a bit of a fighting chance once again.
This only happens in MPLSG, guys. This only happens in MPLSG. That was an extremely good play coming out from CS. That timing was impeccable. And look at the damage dealt by Jay.
Once again.
Yeah, I'm thinking the takeaway from that last fight was that they probably should have protected the Lord a little bit more. Like, eat the spear, right? And then kind of protect it so that that would not happen. I don't know. It just seems like a bit of an off play, no?
Now, all of a sudden, you see, the standing gold. Yes, Bleed is leading with 3K, but that will be easily gone right now. RSG managed to find a way to equalize from what could have been Bleed's victory march, right?
Yeah, and Brayyy does get the outer turret on the top lane, but the Lord will not be long for life here. But they just want all this standing gold, right? They want to equalize as much of this net worth as much as possible. And Brayyy just looking for something at this mid lane. I mean, I don't want him to commit on this tower here.
Look at that net worth lead, just dwindling. It's like less than 2K. It was close to 5K at one point. I mean, RSG, if you want to understand how to get back into a game, just watch what they're doing. Just get some steals, get some good spears.
Energy eruption, Brayyy comes on the flank instead. CG will get caught, but he's actually taking a lot of damage. CS on the back line, Wind of Nature already connecting as well. Bleed will lose the damage dealer right here, and RSG trying to cut their escape. But RSG is taking a little bit of punishment, and they'll take as much as they could, but Gear still dashes forward just a little bit. GodZilla also just have to pull back.
Yeah, and I like what RSG are doing right now, right? With CS going in the back line, he did get the better of Seiji, and now going for the Haas Claws already. And GodZilla, he was playing on keep away Jay duty. So he was just trying to block the meteorite, just trying to terrorize Jay as much as possible, making sure he does not get the cleanup onto CS. And that's exactly what RSG have to do. Don't let Jay get the key damage on the target that is going to be a main damage dealer, which is CS.
Yeah, he's got to stay. It's a matter of the carries just surviving, right? Seiji dying, Bleed was just like, okay, we can't do anything. We got to get out of this one. But you still defend the lanes. You still protect yourself. I mean, yes, it kind of sucks at this point because the net worth lead is completely shifted into RSG. I don't think it's as relevant anymore, seeing as that everybody's level 15 at this point. But it's still one of those moments where you got to protect Seiji. Seiji needs to ensure he stays alive because he's the one that's going to literally blow up everybody.
Yeah, and we're reaching to a point where items don't matter. I mean, net worth doesn't matter. Item choices matter.
Yeah.
So it's going to be who has the immortality, who has the Winter Truncheon. Seiji still not having that defensive item.
Sagitnu regenning all of that. Spear will connect on 3, but I don't think they will commit to that one. Yawn on the Lord right here. Seiji Sagitnu J in position to spring gear as well, but he's on the other side. Darius cutting him off.
Yeah, it's extremely hard for Bleed to close this game at this point. Closer, applying the bottom lane pressure as well. I mean, he will not be here for this Lord fight, but Brayyy...
Sagitnu taking a lot of punishment this White Tower. CS will be able to do it, but Yawn also takes away gear. Nice Mormon, final slash! And also the I'm of a GodZilla, but nobody to pull it because everybody from RSG is already down. And now Closer have to just defend, but he's just only one Esmeralda. What can you do? Slow down the rest of Bleed? I'm not too sure about that because Bleed is just waiting for the Lord to march all the way in. 30 seconds on the death timer, ladies and gents, and Bleed will be able to clear this one for game number 1. Bleed starting this series strong.
Extremely strong performance from Bleed, especially Clear, coming with that final slash, catching on to 3. That was just immobilization central for Team Bleed right there.
What was... Okay, Closer was pushing out the bottom lane, but he was spotted. Bleed realized that, hey, Closer's not here. He can't get here anytime soon. We can take this fight. And so they tried to take it. I mean, they took an amazing fight, 5 versus 4, but it's an opening that Closer cannot do in the future.
Yeah, it was in the stage of the game where net worth didn't matter, item choices matter, and Brayyy, he managed to take somebody down, right? But he had immortality. And that was just the key turning point right there because Brayyy lost his life for an item. And that's not going to be extremely, an ideal trade for RSG at that point.
Personally, right here, RSG has a firm control of what they want. But I think, I have to agree, Holler, right there, you're right. The position, when you go into this sort of late game, your positioning, especially how you navigate around these Lord dances, is more crucial. And if you notice, it's RSG's game to kind of lose because don't forget, it is basically 3 bases, 3 of their towers already gone, right? Which means that their lanes are constantly getting pushed up. If you're Bleed, you're okay. Yeah, we can tango. We can tango right here. So what Bleed actually did is force RSG to do something, to do that trade. And unfortunately, RSG did it when they're not ready.
Yeah, just decision making so well done. And now we have the MVP for Team Bleed. Of course, it is Jay on the Novaria, denying so much space,
he's been painting, bro.
Dealing so much damage. He is extremely just versatile and so hard to deal with.
Yeah, he is actually technically doing a roamer in a sense, right? Not only just he's landing down the damage, he's painting people's names on the floor and they're using their blood, but he's also revealing all of these like this crucial information and makes it very hard for Derry to play Bushwhack because don't forget, Derry's engagement range is very short. And yes, you can use the flicker to increase that range, but that's on a 100-second cooldown, right? So you can only do that if you have that flicker. And if I'm constantly opening up these bushes, even though if I don't land the damage, Jay is doing a lot of work in this game.
Yeah. If you're looking at the dances that tend to happen around the Lord, is that when the echo would hit, RSG are scared. They're like, oh, they know where we are, but we don't know where they are. So it's one of those situations where they tend to play even more scared, and they were playing it back. And they were giving a lot more respect to Bleed than they probably should have. But obviously, we see everything, so it's easy for us to be like, hey, why are they backing off? But for them, they're playing scared.
Yeah, they don't
Information
know where,
is king.
Yeah, they don't know where Team Bleed are, and it's a division game, right? That's why we see Hellcurt being so strong in this meta, and Novaria, it's like a process of elimination. If you Astro Echo this area and you don't see them, they are in the other area.
Yeah. It's elementary, Watson.
It's elementary indeed. But, I mean, both teams in this game one, they have performed extremely well. RSG, there were hints of a comeback as well. Yeah. We have a lot of stellar plays coming out from CS as well. So extremely strong from both teams. We saw Brayyy just being the initiation key that he is on the alpha as well. So strong from him as well.
Yeah, and if you notice, when Brayyy gets a nice positioning, Bleed could have lost there.
Yeah.
Right? There's a couple of times where, if you take a look at the MVP highlights brought to you by McDonald's as well, you get to see one of the fights where Brayyy sets it up really well for the flanks. Yeah, Bleed has no response.
Yeah, and this was one of the fights, right? The early game fights where RSG was winning. CS was chasing down Seiji. GodZilla got the first kill on Jay, and probably the only kill on Jay that happened. And now we see this. All right, Bleed, they look like they were not going to win this. And with that Spear of Destruction, he did not go in. CS did not go in, did not have the items. And Jay just raining down damage in the backline, just extremely scary to deal with. Look at Jay's positioning right here. He's not affected by anything, and he knows that nobody can jump him because they don't have the ability to do so, or they have already expended their cooldowns. So very stellar positioning out of Jay. Just look at this once again. Jay always teetering on the verge of death here, and Closer just used the ultimate onto him. But Jay, he knows the extent. He knows the limits of this Novaria, just playing around that wall so stellarly. It's extremely scary. And
so like your conceal play.
Yeah, it's just scary, man. And Team Bleed right now, we were saying that they had a slow start, but it seemed like they have synergized really well. In terms of how they were handling the regular season, it looked like the done deal, right? They looked like the top two. But in the playoffs, they have faltered. And right now, it looks like they're trying to find their key synergies once again.
Yep, these are your two little siblings, younger siblings that's always quarreling. Maybe they're twins. You know? Let's just make it even spicier for you guys. The twins fighting over a toy, which is the MPL trophy. I mean, it's in a big title that they're fighting for, right? Going up against NIP Flash. We're looking for an actual contender to the superhero that turned into a villain in just one season.
And itemization choices here, right? You look at Bleed. 4 immortalities coming out from Team Bleed, only 2 from the side of Team RSG. Bleed just going for that long-term sustained team fights, knowing that they have the poke from Jay. Jay does not need the immortality because, you know why? He's never going to get caught. And from RSG point of view, it's you want to try to catch Jay as much as possible, but it's just impossible because Astral Echo gives you so much vision, and there's so much frontline from the side of Team Bleed. Yon, Sagitnu, Gear, they're permanently there to scout you out and making sure that Jay, he's having a great game.
One thing I like about Bleed is that they have a lot of resolve. Like, there are moments where you lose AG or you lose, gear at some points where you're kind of like, we messed up. And then it kind of like snowballs into this like negative, oh, we're losing now, we're going to have a hard time and all this. But Bleed, they're just like, hey, we reset. Mistakes happen. We're going to be fine. We understand we have this in the long game. Let's continue to play. So they have that resolve, and it's very strong, and you're starting to see it really shine in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's really, really evident, and I hope that RSG, they do have the same resolve as well, because it looked like they were really down, right? And with one Spear of Destruction, it nearly changed the tide of the game. That Lord that got them so much net worth. Just the itemization choices at that point, I mean, they were just half and half. What you want to go for, I mean, Bleed, they chose for the immortality. RSG, they chose for the having the damage and the sustainability.
I feel like looking at the items right here, it's not about the item choices anymore, because over for a period of time, you saw CS actually swap into a Harsh Claws because he wants to actually gain more sustain, right? But we also have to look at the bigger picture where Bleed is always forcing all these massive mistakes, right? The Novaria Arlot Ruby Wombo combo. The Novaria extends your hitbox. Makes the final slash super easy. You cannot move. And then I'm offended. And what Seiji has to do is just stand back and just constantly hit. And don't forget, Energy Eruption. Now you cannot move again. It's a CC fest.
Yes.
Astral Echo just being the enabler for the side of Team Bleed. And that was the entire storyline of this game, right? We see the emblems coming out from Team RSG. GodZilla did go for the Quantum Charge. He was trying to catch Jay, right? With the Quantum Charge, it means that in the early game, you want to play as aggressive as possible on the Valentina. But I mean, he did get that one and only kill onto Jay, and it was just not possible in the later stages, in the mid to late game, where Yon, Sagitnu, Gear, they were just online. They were just menaces to Valentina.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sage's emblem recently, especially as a carry, right? Yeah, he's starting to switch back into more of a defensive fighter emblem instead of a master assassin. This shows that Seiji, as a carry, I'm not trying to win in the early game. He's basically putting down that statement. If you notice, even though CS was actually 1-up in terms of kills, and Seiji was like down in 1 death, but after a while you start to realize, hey, why is Seiji actually having a level lead? It's because he is the farmer. You can make sure that he has a very hard time to farm. He doesn't need to farm rice. He can farm potatoes, and potatoes are resilient.
What a nice analogy coming out from Jays right there. And yeah, alluding to your point, CS, he did go for the lone assassin.
He went for the rice.
Yeah. So he went for the rice. He went for the 1v1. I want to fight you, Seiji.
High maintenance crop, but potatoes that you can plant them in like bad soil and they can still prosper, and that is Seiji right there.
Yeah, Seiji just growing his vodka with his potatoes, right? Making a business out of his potatoes as well. So extremely well done from Seiji as well to secure the farm in the early stage, even though he was behind in the first few kills. And from the side of Bleed, you were talking about synergies. You were talking about the Astral Echo having so much effect. RSG, I did not see any synergy coming out in these team fights. It felt like they were very disjointed. They were just trying to make individual plays, more to say.
Yeah, it was a bit of a struggle. RSG here, it seemed like, I don't know what it is, and I don't like to call out players, but Brayyy having 8 deaths was not great, right? He seems to be trying to force fights or trying to push things out and split push when he probably shouldn't have. I think he needs to play a little bit more reserved. I didn't feel like Brayyy was, the Brayyy that we all know, right? The prodigy, right? So RSG, I think they've taken a punch. Can they bounce back? How do they do this? Is it going to be more of like a draft issue, or is it more strategy? Like, your thoughts?
Yeah, so actually, I love the fact that he brought out Brayyy as a child prodigy. Don't forget, when Year first joined in MPL Singapore Season 2, he was dubbed as also one of the child prodigies, right? Brayyy took that title away because in Season 3, when he joined RSG became the tyrant of winning Season 3, 4, and 5 back-to-back-to-back, right?
Wow.
But I totally agree with you to a certain extent, where Brayyy, on this Alpha, this is not an X-Borg anymore, right? Alpha, if you notice his build, he went for the War Axe and the Hunter Strike. You're not expected to sustain as much. You're meant to be more of a backline assassin, right? With a bit of pseudo tankiness. But Brayyy played that Alpha kind of like an X-Borg.
Yeah. And just looking at the stats, right? Jay, he has 120,000 damage. We were talking about his Novaria, extremely strong. And Bleed, I mean, it's not only Jay that can play the Novaria. Gear did extremely well on the Novaria yesterday as well. So extremely scary flex pick. In the drafting and banning patterns, are you going to just allocate a ban for Novaria against Bleed? Perhaps maybe like how you want to ban out the Kadita, but the Kadita wasn't banned. So we might see GodZilla pulling out a Kadita in this match.
Yeah, it might happen. But, that's your opinion with a Kadita. But let's see what Churros has to say.
What's going on, guys? Professor Churros right here again off the desk. And I want to say, Jace was talking about potatoes being resilient, but the same water that makes potatoes soft makes an egg hard. It's not about where you are, it's about what you're made of. So a lot of things to talk about this thing, but can I say it's very exciting to see an RSG Bleed matchup once again. The rivalry coming in back from Season 5, Season 6, and this time around, Bleed is in the top 3 once again. Taking a look at the draft first, it's how RSG was drafting around comfort, and we have Brayyy on that alpha. We've seen this quite a bit. It's sort of like this Singapore and Mobile Zane kind of situation that we're in at this point, up against a Fredrin. So a very, very just a intuitive way to counter a very, very tanky draft that Bleed has set up. But the fact of the matter is, they wanted to go for a carry. So once that carry has been drafted, they needed to protect carry, and that's why that Ruby was picked up. The fact of the matter is, every single time Derry wants to go for an engage, and you'll see in this next match, the Seiji is always very well protected by gear. We talked a lot about the late game situations, but this is what I want to go through just for a very, very early beginnings, where Bleed likes this strategy of before any core main objectives, they want to go for an engage. They want to at least take one person down, try to get a level lead. In this case, they want to go for that gold lane. They want to punish CS for being alone, and this is where Gear, Yawn, and Seiji was up on that top side, trying to take down, trying to apply pressure on to CS. But you'll see at this point, Derry goes in with the onward, catches Yawn, and Brayyy already has that level 4, the Spirit of Alpha, going in strong and taking down Yawn. No problems at all with that Spirit of Alpha, with the true damage coming through. We'll see Jay a little bit late to the party, but that is the main reason why they lost the early game skirmish on the side of Bleed. However, they were able to recover because of the fact that Gear was able to just set up a lot of these same plays, pre-objective team fights that Bleed likes to go for, and whether or not RSG will be able to counteract this matchup is down to a lot of the drafting, a lot of the gameplay, a lot of the team fight synergies that they've gone in. So what I want to see more in the next game is Derry just starting that engage, starting that shot calls, and making the right plays pre-matchup. And this was how they defended very effectively towards that first turtle. This was that last Lord fight that won it all. You'll notice that CS threw the Spirit of Destruction. He didn't want to go for it. He made a couple of very questionable plays from the start, but since the Spirit of Destruction was thrown, if he goes in, Sagitnu is definitely going to crowd control him, and that's not what you want to deal with, especially with a Bleed draft that's full on crowd control. We'll see Gear just pushing them away from that mid side, defending against the rest of RSG, creating this line to separate the Esmeralda and Derry away from the rest of Bleed. So basically a 3-2 up against a 4-1 composition. A very, very simple but effective maneuver from Gear, trying to zone the rest of the members of RSG out. Sagitnu goes in first once the Lord is in a third of his health, and they don't need to worry about this Esmeralda at all because of the fact that they understand the limits of this Esmeralda. Esmeralda won't be able to take down any turrets, won't be able to go for any backdoors just because of the lack of physical damage onto the turrets, and the rest is history. I like the fact that Sagitnu goes directly for Brayyy, trying to just body block himself away from all of this, leaving Seiji free and open just to hit all of those true damages from the light wheels. And I like the fact that Bleed was just, they should be happy. This was a game that would really raise the morale into the next one, and I'm excited to see what the next game brings. Boys, back to you.
Broadening my horizons, opening my perspectives,
broadening my own horizons.
He has extremely broad shoulders, right?
He's that side. This side, I'm slightly on the lower latitude.
Thank you, Professor Churros, for the education, and that was an extremely well done breakdown of the first game. I mean, Gear with that final slash, 3 members. It's extremely scary. And you notice Sagitnu, he can't play the Arla on the same level as well. So Bleed, extremely flexible, very hard to ban them out. So what do you do if you're RSG at this point?
I personally feel like it's not about the bans and picks anymore, right? I feel like Bleed has already sussed out what RSG wants to do. I think right now it's just about communication. If you notice that Closer, yes, I can see why, Closer's all the way down at the bottom lane, but don't forget, it's Bleed that's forcing them into this sort of issue.
Yes, forcing us into some sort of issue, right? But instead of some issue, I'm extremely hungry right now.
That's a big issue. We need to solve that.
So, how to solve that issue? I mean, the road to glory has never been tastier with McDonald's, catch all the MPL Season 7 action and complete the experience with the crispy crunch of the new and improved Chicken McCrispy. And we have that here for you guys today. If you come down live, there's a 1v1 challenge at the outside. Winner or loser, you both get a free McDonald's McCrispy meal.
Yep, don't forget you can also Mac delivery that to the comforts of your home. But why are you staying at home? You should come down to Scape as well, and don't forget to take a look at the trophy for the MVP player, right? That trophy that Hades won last season. Bro, that looks really good. And thank you very much, McDonald's, for actually supporting MPL Singapore for 2 seasons in a row. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but still doesn't solve the issue that extremely hungry. So should we order some McDonald's?
Yeah, sure. You can also, don't forget, you can order with the CMCXMLBB code to get 50% off for the Spicy McCrispy.
Yeah, talking about spicy, right? we already had a very spicy first game. It was extremely close. RSG, they looked like they were on the cusp of a comeback. Bleed just totally shut that down. But RSG, they have been showing resilience time and time again. And now we have the drafting and banning phase for these two teams. I mean, Hellcurt, you want to take that out. But I was talking about the vision advantage, right? You take out the Hellcurt, the Novaria provides some sort of vision advantage as well. Will they be taking that out this time for Team RSG?
I don't think it's... I mean, I don't think that they ban it themselves. They might pick it up. I think it's probably the better route. It's still very flexible, but it just shows you how strong this hero is in the sense that, like, vision is king. Having that information is super key. It might not be amazing in the ranked games where your so-called teammates, aka bots, are really helping you out, right? Because they're kind of doing their own thing, right?
And yeah, Bleed, they have identified that Brayy's X-Borg is extremely versatile, being a problem as well. I mean, the fact that they can flex it onto closer as well while Brayyy goes on a Ling probably, it's going to be an extremely scary choice for them to deal with. So not dealing with the choice, just banning it out would be a good choice for Team Bleed at this point. And Moskov will be the pick of choice for Team RSG. And Bleed going for the Roger for Seiji, and together with a Novaria pick once again. I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
It's like the washing machine at home. If it doesn't break, don't bother upgrading to the next one, right?
Yeah, it's just keep using the same washing machine, and Novaria just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, but what I'm looking at right now from the side of RSG, this is, you know Albert Einstein's quote on insanity? It's like trying something over and over again and expecting different results. Yes, the slight difference here is the Fredrin, but now you first pick the Moskov, and now you give Seiji the Roger. And okay, a little bit of difference right here. It's going to be Darion the Minotaur, but Esmeralda for closer.
Yeah, Esmeralda, I mean, we did see it out of closer in the first game. I feel that Esmeralda extremely strong at dealing with these kind of shieldy heroes, right? Roger would have the shields as well when he is transforming between forms. You expect Roger to have a lot of sustainability when it comes to these form of team fights, but Esmeralda would take that away. Minotaur with the Minoan Fury, a lot of control as well, but Bleed will answer with an Akai. I mean, Akai with the heavy spin, you can potentially pin down the Esmeralda extremely well as well. So we do have the banning stages right now. The mid laner for RSG is yet to be picked, so I feel that Bleed might be leaning towards banning out GodZilla right now.
I'm okay with this. I think the only thing that with RSG, very similar, obviously the Minotaur is different from RSG, but having the Esmeralda, it wasn't an issue with the hero itself, but it was more of the player decisions, right? So you made a mistake, cool, let's restart, we can get back into this game, we'll do a much better job. The Esmeralda still had impact in the last game, so I understand why they're bringing it back in. Again, you talk about the Roger. So, but look at some of these bans here.
They're taking out the Yve, thinking that maybe Gear potentially might be on the Novaria, and it does provide a lot of pressure with the RWM and the Astral Echo as well. Faramis will be the ban of choice for the side of Team Bleed, together with Ling. I mean, given the fact that they have two extremely strong frontliners, right? Esmeralda, Minotaur, that opens up a lot of space for an assassin in the back line. So Brayyy might potentially go for an assassin here that is not Ling.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think Brayyy wants that. I mean, you cannot rely 100% on CS's Moskov to do all of the damage. You need somebody to kind of help support, to alleviate some of that. Now, what's going on?
Yeah, sorry. Hold on. I feel like RSG is inking towards a long-range artillery strike kind of mage. Farsa comes into my mind. You got a Grog removed, you got a Yve removed. Yeah, so that's probably where RSG is going for.
Odette? we saw the Johnson and Odette coming out from Team Vanguard. I mean, let's not.
Look, it didn't work. Okay, they're not going to.
Let's not meme it and dream it too much. But for Bleed, the pick of choice will be extremely strong pre-pick, right? If you're going for something like a long-range artillery, Yuzong will be in your face. Identifying that is extremely key for Bleed right here, and I feel that Coach G, he has been making all this very good mind games. 4D chess, man. It's like Pacifist is trying to make a step, and G's like, yeah, I got you.
I feel like Coach G is living in a different plane of existence, right? He's seen the 3D dimensional pathing from the side of Pacifist, knows probably something like a Farsa is coming up, goes for the Yu Zhong's up, but don't forget, the Kadita is also wide open if Pacifist decides to choose something else.
Yeah, the Kadita is indeed wide open for Team RSG, and with the last 2 picks, 5 seconds left, what will be the major choice? A Paquito and a Farsa. You called it. Jay's the Mentalist.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it indeed does. And Team Bleed, they do have the answer for it. They really have the Yuzong.
Is that a Esmeralda jungle or Paquito jungle?
I think it might be an Esmeralda jungle here. Yeah, most likely will be, and Paquito will be on the hands of closer, maybe.
It could be a Paquito jungle because you have a stronger power spike and you have better engage at level 3 just in case Bleed wants to start to invade. And Closer has been playing the Esmeralda quite well, so you give him something that he's comfortable with, right? So yeah, highly likely RSG is going for a traditional Paquito jungle, and that's something that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it's something that we haven't seen in a while indeed. And Bleed, they will be picking up the Guinevere. We saw it in the hands of Hades, extremely strong. But now it will be on the Rome roll on Gear, adding to his versatility once again. I mean, what can this man not play?
I love the fact that they're kind of like, it's the last pick by Gear, right? It's not like jungle all of a sudden Guinevere, or just kind of spring these new surprises on you. It's more of like, hey, we'll prioritize Gear so that we have a good game.
Yeah, and it will not be a jungle Paquito. Yeah, it will be a jungle Esmeralda coming out from Brayyy. I feel that jungling in terms of an Esmeralda, it's a lot faster in terms of getting the objectives, but for a Paquito, it's very teamfight orientated. So for Esmeralda, he does cover a lot more bases in terms of taking the objectives and the team fights as well. Has a lot of sustain as well. So extremely well done from the side of Team RSG in terms of trying to just counteract this. But now we have it, ladies and gentlemen. MPL Season 7, Game 2 of RSG versus Team Bleed. Both are still fighting for survival.
Fighting survival, this is it. Lower brackets, right? Lower bracket finals. We're going into this one. Who's going to play Team NIP Flash? That one's going to be coming up. But, you know, the biggest thing about this one is that you want to close out this series as quickly as possible, right? Because fatigue is a real thing. Obviously, the grand finals is later today, and we have a bit of a break, but these guys have been up early, right? They do not like getting up early. They do not
Gamers do not like getting up early.
Yeah, they'll play all through the night, but they don't like to wake up early. So both of these teams being, you know, on time and here and playing for this, I mean, yeah, they're playing for their hearts and you know, survival, so to speak, but it's one of those things where, hey, fatigue, again, might be something that comes up.
Yeah, I'm surprised many of them are even awake at this point. I'm struggling opening my eyes at this point. But, of course, we do our best here at MPLSG. So we have already Gear early on in the mid lane. And Jay will be rotating away from the mid lane and trying to be the menace on the other lanes as well. So Gear, he's trying to soak up as much of EXP and farm as possible on the mid lane here.
Yeah, trying to force Derry to kind of zone him away. Jan is now going to just make an appearance. But looking at the bottom lane, Jay's going to be kind of sticking around and behind Saginu, just kind of keeping him alive. Should Jay not be in the mid lane?
Yeah, Bleed going with this macro strat here into funneling farm onto Gear. Gear did not have the roaming boots till now.
Interesting that Jan has been sticking around. They're spending a lot of time, right? Just forcing him back. Closer, that is, so that he can't really get any sort of farm. But now Jay, Jan, are they going to make an appearance? Push Closer even further back? No.
Yeah, and looking at the emblems, we do see both concussive blasts coming out from Akai and Minotaur, pretty standard. But if you look at the emblem choice for the marksman, Lone Assassin.
Already committed, Gear jumps towards Brayyy. That's also going to be the dragon committed by the side of Bleed. Looking onto Closer, Yawn working on the turtle, no issue at all. But Derry gets knocked up sky high, and he will go in with his own Minnow and Fury. The chase is on for the side of Bleed onto RSG, but Yawn will be securing the turtle for himself.
Yeah, and I mean, both teams just disengaging at this point after turtle has been taken. Very clean disengage from both teams, but Turtle will be going the way of Team Bleed. And Seiji and CS, I was just talking about the emblems, right? Both of them have lone assassins, and it feels like Seiji's not playing the potato game anymore.
Yeah.
He's going for the rice.
He's not only just going for the rice, he's planting something even more expensive, right? I'm not even going to name the crop. But the more important thing is, if you notice Bleed's rotation in this particular game, Jay being sent all the way down so early to absorb more EXP allows him to get level 4 quicker as compared to his counterpart and apply a lot of pressure onto Closer.
And the fact that Gear hit level 4 extremely early as well, because he was soaking up the mid lane EXP as well.
Waves of the mid lane.
Yeah, so he did have the Violet Requiem available to disengage or engage.
Yep, Feather Asher already committed right here, looking for the clear. Brayyy charging up the ultimate and the Spear of Destruction. First blood given up the side of Jay already, and Yon spinning just for the fun of it. But Brayyy tags onto Yon for now. Both of them disengaged. Derry, the one, will be losing his life in that fight.
Yeah, and you can't get controlled if you get controlled first, right? That's what Gear was going for with that Astral Migration on to Derry. Derry did not have a say in it at all. He was just plucked off. And they'll be relying a lot onto CS. They'll be relying a lot onto Brayyy to open up the maps as much as possible. So CS has to hit the Spear of Destruction into these team fights. Closer, once he gets online. Oh,
so much damage, so much service to Sagitnu. One punch by Closer saves him life just a little bit more. And you can start to realize, ladies and gents, RSG, they cannot open the map.
Yeah, it's extremely hard. They're just relying on CS. They're just relying on Brayyy at this point. They have to start funneling the farm. Once Esmeralda comes online, they have to take the fight with the Spear of Destruction as much as possible.
Yeah, and Brayyy here is the highest level in the game.
Not only just that,
8.
there's a Minnow Fury jumping onto 2. Seiji will be down low just a little bit. Feather Airstrike will be attacked on this. Seiji will be get out alive. Gear tags onto Derry himself. Knock him sky high. Closer joins the fight just a little bit. 1-2 punch. Gear on the down low. Yon will be charging, but Brayyy secures. No, it's gonna be Brayyy secured the turtle instead. And now the fight still ensues as RSG just navigates around Sagitnu.
Segmented team fight coming out from Team Bleed. They wanted to go for the kills. The Turtle did go the way of RSG. Both teams still at a 13k net worth. So very even, but CS did use the Purify and go down. Meanwhile, Seiji got away scot-free. So that means he has the time to farm. Meanwhile, CS, he has to play catch-up right now.
Yeah, that's not a good situation. I mean, they get the Turtle. I think in terms of net worth, it was a bit of a wash. But with all the kills going the way of Bleed, it's one of the things where, yeah, you've gotten the kill. It's the fact that the other hero isn't able to farm.
Brayyy attacks onto Gear, chases down, ignores the clone. Gear goes in for the re-engage. Damage will be spent onto Gear. Jay reveals everybody. No dice from the side of RSG.
Yeah, Astral Echo. Very, very strong coming out from Team Bleed. And we see the synergy, right? Astral Echo, Astral Migration. That's going to be a lot of key damage.
You haven't had real-world manipulation yet. Everything will be themed around stars, you know?
Yeah, and with that heavy spin as well, you increase the hitbox, that's going to be crazy for the side of Yuzhong. It's going to be crazy for the side of Akai as well.
Lane, that's going to be a spear. CS joins the fight as well, tags onto Jay. Finally, the elusive Jay gets taken down by RSG.
And we did see Jay getting taken down early on in the previous game as well. This might be the first and only death once again. If Jay plays this right?
It's going to be interesting, right? I think if we're looking at Brayyy, he's having a much better game. Very tanky, super tough to deal with. He goes under tower, he doesn't care. He's just going to go after him. But he had a 2-level difference. Yon had just hit level 9, so Yon has a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, and Brayyy with this extremely frontliner playstyle. We saw him on the Alpha just trying to initiate time and time again. We see him on the export all the time, just taking the damage.
Derry will be able to catch it closer, outputting damage. Sagitnu stepping forward right there. Brayyy already on the turtle as well. Derry opening up the map, will be able to find Gear. He got locked down instead. Here comes the Astro Echo, GodZilla, Feather Airstrike! Right in the noses right here. Turtle ultimately forgotten by Brayyy. Brayyy already committed the ultimate. Oh, CS! Lands a spear. Will he take it? He will. Joins the fight as well. He needs to reinforce RSG. If not, it's going to be too late. Brayyy! Secure the turtle for RSG.
Yeah, very important fight coming right there, but still Gear
ongoing.
Oh, they got Brayyy.
Oh, man. But it's actually kind of good for RSG because not only just to take the turtle, they also take the mid-lane turret.
Yeah, they got the mid-lane turret as well. That's a lot of key map openings for the side of Team RSG. Looking really good right now. CS performing extremely well this
Oh,
Fear
Feather
Destruction,
Airstrike.
but Feather Airstrike
Once again,
here.
Feather Airstrike. Jay will be tagging on to the damage. We'll be able to find him, but Bleed escapes.
Look at how Gear plays with your hearts, right? Like he's just like like he forces out the feathered airstrike, understanding that the limits of this, and there was a 3-man rotation as well. But he's just kind of in your face, so you got to respect where Gear is at all points. And yeah, they've lost the T1 mid, which is a huge an issue for Bleed. But again, look at this net worth lead. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing at this point, and they do trade towers on the opposite ends of the map. GodZilla does
right
get
out in
stuck into-
Brayyy. Gets deleted 4 men jumping on him, but RSG will trade for the bottom lane turret instead. Bleed looking to trade it back. They're gonna take a look at the mid lane. It's up to RSG to stop them.
Yeah, 1v4, 2v4.
Minotaur. Ultimate will be able to tag onto Yon as well. He gets knocked up sky high, but will be able to retreat thanks to the escape mechanism of Gear.
Gear on this Guinevere, right? He has been just in and out, playing with our hearts, as you said it. It's just so nice to watch. Extremely meticulous play coming out from Gear. And this is how a Guinevere should be played indeed. And with Jay just going to ramp up in terms of damage, the Astral Echo, Astral Migration combo, we have not seen it to the fullest extent yet. RSG will have to deal with this in the mid game. And they do have the Feather Airstrike to mitigate a lot of this damage.
Seiji finds Brayyy down bot, but if you notice RSG, they're switching out their tactics just a little bit. They're literally doing an RSG Raider thing. They're raiding the side lanes, the countryside of Bleed.
Yeah, RSG going for the macro game. They have taken out 2 of the other turrets on each side, the top lane and the bottom lane. Only 1 left standing on the mid lane so far, but the Lord is up and running. And now RSG will be forced to fight into Bleed if they do want to take this. The Golden Staff already available on CS. That signals the Holy Trinity available.
Derry looking for the knockup right here. CS will be landing. Derry knocks up air for now, but GodZilla lands down the damage from afar. Closer will be joining the fight just a little bit more, but CS will be able to stun Gear on top as well. Closer goes for the knockup punch. The members of Bleed switches. CS takes the spear, takes down Gear. He will trade his life for it.
Oh, he gets blown up by Seiji. He made an appearance, he got a kill, but then Seiji was like, all right, I'll take this free food.
Yeah, I mean, that was just grab delivery onto Moskov right there, right?
More like McDelivery, McCrispy, right?
Yeah,
but then, right now, you're going to fight into Bleed with 2 members down. Yes, Derry has joined the fight right here, but look at Bleed. They're actually ignoring the Lord right here. They're looking for kills. GodZilla taking a lot of damage right here. Don't forget, Seiji can bounce one. GodZilla!
Oh!
The wall would not save him. Seiji, 1 claw away, takes him down, and not only just that, Bleed swipes the Lord away from RSG.
And despite the fact that they lost all these outer turrets, right, this does not matter. They have the Lord right now. They can't go for this extended push. They can't take back the ground that they have lost.
I mean, look at this. It's all of those kills have gone the way of Bleed, but RSG have like they're the way that they're playing objectively very, very well, right? But the thing is that the team fights, this is the struggle. At some point, they need to win one to get themselves back in this game or to take the lead, right? They're not able to do that. RSG have been playing very defensively because of that, or trying to sneak out a tower here and there. But with this Lord pushing in the bottom lane, it's going to be even tougher for RSG.
Yeah, and RSG, they have been taking the segmented team fights again and again. CS going in right there might not be a key timing, but Yon, he does sniff out where GodZilla might be.
Yeah, catches onto 1 member from the side of RSG. Derry will be the punching bag. Yon taking a lot of damage from the side of CS. Splash damage. The spear of destruction. CS, will you go for it? Nope, he will take it back.
Yeah, the Lord barreling down on the bottom tier 2. He has to handle it, because he does not want to get the lane pressure too far. They do not want to give up this map control to Team Bleed. They are still at an equal net worth, but Bleed, they just have the front foot. They have the momentum right now.
They definitely do.
Yeah, they're going to turn this into towers. They've taken the top T2, so I mean, if anything, they have the mid T2 still standing by RSG, still playing defensively. Notice that they need to fix all the lanes, push things out. They have about 85 more seconds before the next Lord, so they have a bit of a reprieve.
This is stalemate right here, ladies and gents. RSG and Bleed have the same amount of turrets, almost exactly where they are. The Lord spawning in out of 7 seconds, and a pick-off right here will be big for either of these two teams.
And we've seen Derry getting blown up time and time again. I mean, I feels like Brayyy should be the initiator right now.
Who do you go for? He goes for Seiji. Seiji goes with a like a pounce instead. Gets a lot of punishment. Backs off.
Look at Gear making the flank. He's trying to find an angle all the way on the sides. Okay, he's going to give that one up.
And on top of all that, Jay just raining in meteors again and again. RSG will have a lot of trouble to deal with, especially if Jay just keeps poking them again and again. You can't take these team fights.
I see you. Jay literally sees everybody from the side of RSG.
Yeah, Brayyy looking for that right angle. Mind you, Jay is only level 12.
But Brayyy tags onto Jay. Jay buds a flicker already. Sphere's Destruction will be able to land. Brayyy goes in with the ultimate, and knows only just there. Yawn! Spins for the win. GodZilla also with the feather airstrike, and now it's gonna be Black Dragon Ball for the side. Sagino trying to look for more. Seiji goes down, and that's massive for the side of RSG. And Brayyy steps forward comfortably, takes down Gear. One man for the side of two, and that's a massive trade, especially RSG has clear line to the Lord.
Yep. They will make a beeline towards the Lord right now. CS, he does have the Wind of Nature already picked up. Seiji will no longer be a problem for him, but Jay is still up. He can rain meteors, and Yon does have the Retribution available. They can go for a steal if they choose to do so. For the airstrike.
For the airstrike as well, Sagitnu gets more down just a little bit low. Yon gets tagged by CS Brayyy. Clear line of sight for the Lord right here. Spear will be taken. Sagitnu has to bounce away, and Yon will get punished. A heavy spin. Not long for the world. RSG in the driver's seat right now.
39K to 39K. Both teams have been keeping the equal net worth. They are neck and neck. One objective for one objective, but the Evolve Lord will eventually go the way of Team RSG. 42K now for Team RSG. They will have the map advantage, but still, Jay, he has been doing an extremely good job of keeping alive. Sagitnu and Yon, they have been getting caught time and time again. And it is all due to the fact that CS, he has been landing the Spear Destructions again and again. And Brayyy, he is now the key initiator. No longer Derry is going forward. No longer Derry is getting blown up. So Brayyy might be the key to win for Team RSG here.
Definitely. Brayyy is the one, right? You need to ensure that you find out where he is, because he's pretty much going to start the fight wherever you are. But you're kind of harping on Bleed a little bit. Look, everybody's died a single time. Gear's died twice, right? It's like not like the mistakes have been tantamount, so to speak. They understand what they need to do, but here comes the Lord.
The Lord marching down bottom lane. Gets destroyed immediately. Don't forget GodZilla does have the feather airstrike. Will be using it. Minotaur jumps in to slow down. GodZilla takes down Yon, and now the Black Dragon form committed. The Lord will be sent to the core. RSG change the crosshairs to the big lane. Gear jumping on the Brayyy, and Seiji hitting from behind. But the splash damage from CS is a little bit too much for Bleed to handle. The minions marching in. CS working on the core. And ladies and gentlemen, RSG takes game number 2.
We tie things up, ladies and gentlemen. RSG and Bleed are 1-1. Extremely decisive victory for RSG at that moment, with the Lord taking all the momentum away from Bleed and tying things up.
Yeah, let Brayyy cook. I think at the end of the day, he was my MVP going into this one. I just felt like he had just so much impact in terms of objectives, understanding that, hey, we might be losing in other parts in terms of kills and all that, but at the end of the day, I know what I need to do. I'm staying super focused on those objectives.
This is exactly what RSG need. A wake-up call, a pick-up coffee or something like that. And it feels like they drank it. No, they actually dripped it right into their veins. And they finally got game number 2, and I'm really glad we've got a series on our hands, ladies and gents.
Yeah, we have a series on our hands. Indeed, 1-1. Extremely exciting series so far. Both teams, they were looking neck and neck in both games, right? Like, Bleed, they looked like they had all control of the game, and it was all lost for RSG, but they found a way to come back with Brayyy being in the front line. Derry was consistently getting blown up. He was 0-5, he was 0-4, right?
Yeah.
But still, once Brayyy was online, that was all RSG needed.
They just have to wait for Brayyy, you know, the child prodigy literally coming back. We can come back. He's not happy about game number 1. He's showing us what he's capable of in game number 2. Pulling out an Esmeralda jungle, mind you. That's not something that we usually see often.
Yeah, it worked, and he was just so tanky, so annoying to deal with. Anytime they tried to jump in, I mean, yeah, Derry died many times, but they would win every single team fight that Derry went in and it died on.
Yeah, I mean, afterwards, I mean, Mineral and Fury was just a tool to extend the team fight as much as possible for Brayyy to come in. Once Brayyy comes in, gets the sustained damage again and again, and CS just raining the spears again and again. No answer from Team Bleed.
Yeah, so basically what happened is RSG just fought front to back, and with the help of the cover of GodZilla on the Farsa, man, this is a really good draft coming up from RSG.
You called it, man. The Farsa was indeed the pick of choice. And now the MVP of choice is indeed the Farsa, as well as GodZilla will be the MVP of this game. 4-1 and 4. The only time he died was when he got chased down by Roger on the top lane in the Lord fight. But still, 100% kill participation on this Farsa right here.
Interesting build choice coming out from this emblem, right? Immediately is Lethal Ignition and Assassin. So basically he's going in hard. And don't forget, instead of going for, you know, the Lightning Trunkin, he went for the Blood Wings as well. So that's like massive boost in terms of the damage and also survivability because of the shielding, right? And on top of that, you have Assassin emblems to kind of assist you in helping you burst down any squishy. So as long as Minotaur tags onto anybody, Feather Airstrike follows up, he's half HP.
Yeah, the Genius one as well for the magic penetration. I mean, reducing the magic defense, right? Yeah, so that's going to be extremely key. And we were talking about this head-to-head. Jay versus GodZilla is going to be something that we need to watch here.
Yep.
And CS versus Seiji as well. I mean, we did see as well the rice and potatoes. And
I like the fact that's a throwback to Bleed's manager right there.
Yeah, and Seiji going for the rice game here. He was going for the exact same emblem build, going for the 1v1 versus the Moskov. And we did say that Moskov counter to Roger, because Moskov, you can join the team fight way easier than Roger, right?
Yeah, and he was actually hitting his spears, and we'll probably see some of those in the highlights right here. But I mean, CS was definitely more impactful this game, and I felt like, you know, another thing is that the feathered airstrike from GodZilla was zoning it out to let Brayyy almost have free reign on the Lords or Turtles or whatever it was. He was just casting it like almost in every single highlight here.
Yeah, and the disengage coming out from Team RSG, extremely strong as well. But Team Bleed, they did look like they had the upper hand in the first few minutes of the game. And look at this, CS, he went into gear, getting that kill onto gear, of course, and GodZilla getting plucked off here, just not looking too good for RSG, but they have that resilience, and Coach Chi just popping off in the background. But afterwards, look at this, CS eventually going in with the cover of the Feather Airstrike, and Seiji, he could not stand after he killed Derry. Despite the fact that he had the shield available, still not enough, and just RSG making this key decisive move right here just brought back the momentum of the game.
Just a lot of damage. I mean, it's just throughout, like how much control CS on the back free lines, nobody's going near him. Nobody can get to him. Like his CS, his positioning was flawless this game. Look at how deep he is.
No,
that's it. GG.
Yeah, GG. Nothing to be done here. And GodZilla on the back line just playing protect the president, right? Protect CS no matter what. And GodZilla was doing it extremely well. With a Feather Airstrike, it was never about getting the kills. It was always about zoning out the competition, making sure that Bleed does not have the ability to wrap around you. And that's what the Feather Airstrike entails in this scenario.
Actually, Feather Airstrike is a very good tool to zone out the Roger, especially when you're on the Lycan Pounce, you want to get in close and dirty, up close and dirty. Apart from that, if he goes into human form, he's definitely going to get outranged by GodZilla. But it's also another problem from the side of Bleed that they also need to handle, is that CS is on its Moskov, right? So it's splash damage, whereas Seiji can only deal one person at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if you're looking at the MVP, you know, or just the stats, there's a reason why the MVP was GodZilla. He's the only one with like a somewhat positive or a good, somewhat good score, right? So I think that makes sense. But it comes back to the team just playing objectively well, like understanding what they need to do. Very smart play by RSG. And yeah, the kills are 8-13, but there's a reason why they can win without taking kills.
Yeah, and Bleed, I mean, they did get the kills. They won the team fight. But RSG, we noticed that in the back line, they were taking the towers, right? They were going for guerrilla warfare. Yeah. They were getting the towers on the side, keeping the macro game neck and neck. They were just 22K, 22K, 39K, 39K, and 42K, 42K. Eventually, when they took the last Lord, then they went for the decisive throat strike. And RSG, they just cleaned up afterwards. So well done. But from Gear, we were saying his Guinevere was one of the most premium Guineveres that we've seen on the roam as well. Just playing with our hearts, playing with our heartstrings, just going in, going out, just providing so much cover. And still, Bleed, they were unable to close things through.
I think hero-wise, I don't have an issue with any of them. I think you go back and you do the same heroes, same players on them, you might have a completely different result. Because it comes back to the calls that were made, how they take on objectives, right? I think that was the biggest thing. And RSG just playing it so smart.
Yeah, Bleed, they lost out in terms of objectives, but if we look at this, the emblem, right? Seiji, he was going for the 1v1 against CS, and he did win. He did get the kills, he did get the upper hand, but RSG, they made the decisive call to go for the macro game instead. We group up on the opposite ends of the map where Bleed is not. We go for the towers, we keep the macro advantage on our hand, we keep it neck and neck, despite the fact that we are losing members left and right.
Yeah, I actually called out Brayyy last game. I questioned him. He had 8 deaths. I feel like he heard me, so he had a good game because of me in this one. If we're looking at the fact,
can you call out my bank account? So that my bank account looks healthier.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, son.
Yeah, like, okay, jokes aside, but look, take a look at how RSG was playing just now. I love the fact that you guys mentioned about the guerrilla warfare right here. Yeah, the RSG eventually won the trades because they're so mobile and they can also set up this massive front line immediately using the Farsa, right? It's the same. That's the reason why they banned away the Eve, because just in case if they want to match the artillery strike and setting up the box or the circle so that CS is able to just roam around freely, just free hitting right there. And all of a sudden, Seiji is just not allowed into the fight at all.
Yeah, and we found that Sagitnu, he was just spoiled for choice in terms of target prioritization. He could not go for GodZilla as he wished because Closer was on Sagitnu duty most of the time, and Brayyy would be there to stop any form of initiation onto Sagitnu. That's why we see Derry going in first most of the time. But as the game dragged out later and later, Derry just got tankier and tankier, right?
Yeah. Can we also talk about how Closer? I mean, his 11,000 net worth is the highest on the team. I mean, his impact was there in terms of just control and just forcing, like Sagitnu, who, yeah, he jumps on him, but he can kind of control him. Gear goes on him. Yeah, he can control him. There's so many different ways that Closer had an impact in this one. So I feel like it's a little under the radar in terms of his impact in that last game.
Yeah, and if you look at that, I mean, all across the board, the bridge guy, Team Bleed. Carry, Team Bleed. Sandbag, Team Bleed. Best wingman, Team Bleed. They looked like their game was all but theirs to win. But still, RSG, they're showing this resilience, right? From the first game, we saw from that little Spear of Destruction coming through from CS, they are just capitalizing on the smallest mistakes from each team, and that's how they won NIP Flash in the first place.
I feel like they need another infographic with poor guy, and it'll be like just Derry, but he's like, but I won.
I won. That's not me all the time, poor guy. Yeah, but I really like how, like, you know, Bleed Esports literally just says like, hey, this is our game to win. But RSG, you know, they had to claw from a very tough regular season, and seeing them where they are today, because CS is, you know, his improvement has been, you know, fruitful all up until this day, and it felt like a growing process for the side of RSG. RSG is just like this little bean that you planted during your science experiment days back then, and you're starting to see the bean sprouts coming out, and soon there'll be more little green beans coming out from this.
It's gonna be a giant beanstalk, man, and you gotta climb up, and there's gonna be a golden goose on top, and yeah, CS is that golden goose right now. Because
I love the topics today. It's like rice, potatoes, beans. We're just growing stuff, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense in terms of the growth that we see of the players and the teams themselves. This is the time, right? You want to ensure that you have that upward trajectory, especially since you're going to go into the grand finals, and who knows what happens then.
Yeah, the momentum that you gain just from this particular matches. We've seen before teams from the lower brackets, they get warmed up in the lower bracket finals, and then when they go up to the upper bracket, the grand finalists, the first grand finalists, they feel more on form. This is probably the warm up they need instead of like a mental problem, mental slowdown, if you ask me.
Yeah, the warm-up game is indeed strong from the lower brackets. Both teams going neck and neck. Bleed versus RSG. 1-1 already, but let's just see what Professor Churros has to say in Off the Desk.
Thank you, boys. Once again, Professor Churro is here with Off the Desk. So many things to talk about, and I like to say that the rivalry between the ex-child prodigies, I don't know if they're still child prodigies. I mean, Jace, you can correct me later, but the Gear Brayyy rivalry never seems to end. And I like to see the fact that they have been playing out of their minds, and Bleed, at this point of the game, should not have lost any of these team fights. A lot of things to talk about. Let's first talk about that draft. So, on the side of Bleed, though, they picked up the Guinevere on that last pick. It's sort of like a wild card pick. It's sort of like their special recipe. They threw it in to pair it up with the Novaria. I like this combo a lot. You throw down the Astro Echo, you create a lot of vision, but not only that, you increase the hitbox for Jay to come in, for Gear, to come in and jump with the Violet Requiem, creating a lot of impact within a lot of these team fights. The only problem is you don't have that one person to come down towards that split push, especially in towards that late game. This is still in the mid-series of that game, 9 minutes in, and I don't know if the boys noticed this, but even if Bleed was up 7 kills towards RSG, they are still 27, goal lead behind RSG. This is because you have CS with the split push mechanics. You have Brayyy as well as Closer, Paquito, Esmeralda, Moskov. You can throw any one of them down onto any offsides, get that split push down, and let's just play this out. I circled Gear and Derry because Gear has always has his eyes on Derry. Without an initiator, there's no way that RSG can play. But in this, it shows how Bleed strategy worked very, very well. Jay throws down the Astro Echo. Gear tries to go on Derry. Derry comes a little bit closer. This was a slight miscalculated play from GodZilla, but I think it went perfectly well in this team fight because he used the wing by wings to reposition himself to try to get that zone out towards the rest of Bleed. But it played out perfectly at this point just because of the fact that he does have enough damage. So you have that vision. You have Brayyy coming from that bottom side down to that Lord Pit for backup. As long as Derry was able to survive a little bit more, they would have won that team fight from that get-go. But ultimately, though, Black Dragon form already used up by Sagitnu, and you have CS throwing the Spirit of Destruction. He has been a little bit too trigger-happy with the Spirit of Destruction and popping in and out of team fights alone without any backup. Jay having that vision, and then ultimately they win this first Lord. But even though they won that first Lord, there was still a trick up RSG's sleeve, which is CS is still available. And the caster said it perfectly. As long as CS is safe, you have 3 members of RSG, Closer, Brayyy, GodZilla, just body blocking CS, and all he has to do just hit from that front, hit the first enemy you see, let your passive do its thing, and just clear everything out. It's sort of like using a minigun onto a brick wall. Ultimately, it's gonna deal some damage. It's gonna deal lots of damage, and this was the second Lord that ultimately win them that fight. You have GodZilla and CS just using the Federal Airstrike, zoning everyone out, creating that space for CS to go in, just ramming them with their spears, and the rest is history. It's getting a little bit spicier. You know, I really want to see how match 3 turns out. It's still 1-on-1. Boys, take it away.
I would say.
But between those two, who has the most pressure?
I think it would be Gear. It's definitely going to be Gear because don't forget, Gear is playing a different role. But apart from that, Brayyy at the same time, you know, losing most of his teams that he's very comfortable with, and now this is a brand new team. So definitely, I think in terms of pressure and in terms of the pressure thing, I think it's not a fair comparison.
I think I have the most pressure right now. I mean, feeling my shoulder joints.
Yeah, old man.
Yeah, but
Moment.
yeah, but talking about pressure, right? Both teams already 1-1. They have figured out each other's drafts already. Esmeralda has been shown. Novaria has been shown. We're heading towards game 3, potentially decider for momentum, right? Going into the next few games. We already are in the game 3. It's the best out of 5. You got to get 3 games out of this win. So even if you win the next one, you're not guaranteed to win the whole thing, right?
Of course. But this is from the moment where we look at it 0-0, right? 2 teams have hit each other. Okay, at this point, we got to look at it as just a best of 3. We got to play smart. We got to like get our heads back into this game. I think Bleed might take it a little bit harder considering you lost that last one. But it's like, how do you bounce back? The mental game is real.
Yep, that's right. And speaking of which, we talk about a mental game. Here we go. It's going to be Pacifist versus Coach G. Once again, back into draft we go. Pacifist will be putting RSG on the first pick. Bans the Hellcat and Lawyer right away. Angela ban for the side of Coach G.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why they keep banning out this Hellcat, Angela, Lawyer, I mean, you don't want to give Lawyer into Jay. You don't want to give Lawyer into GodZilla as well. They're extremely strong Lawyer players. And CS, on the Harif, Seiji on the Harif, you don't want them on the Harif as well. So it's going to be a thing a recurring theme that we are going to keep seeing. Hellcat on gear,
Moscow?
Potentially one of the strongest Hellcats I've seen, aside from FMM, who's no longer around. But Xborg will be the ban of choice from Team Bleed as well. They identified it as a key problem, but now Team RSG, they have another tool in their hands, right? They have the Esmeralda on Brayyy as well. Will we see that? And Novaria and Carry will be the pick of choice for Team Bleed.
Yeah, this is rapid fire drops coming out, right? It's like, boom, both these 2 teams, they know what they want. The slight tweet coming out from the side of the Bleed Esports will be the carry instead of that Roger. Something to go into the later parts of the game. However, don't forget, they need to respect Moscow splash damage. Not sure how Bleed is going to figure it out because taking a look at the bans, it's almost the same exactly as the previous game. RSG right now, is their chance to make any difference, or are they going to go for the Minotaur and Esmeralda once again?
And usually we see the answer to be the Edith, right, for the carries in terms of soaking up the damage and bursting it down. But it will be the Kajita combo from the side of RSG. I mean, Professor Churros must be extremely happy jumping off his seat right now. This is what he lives for. GodZilla's Kadita and Derry's Kaja.
Okay.
Few of his signature heroes.
Now, how do you counter a Kaja, right? You start to see some of the teams have found out that Mathilda is actually a really good counter over to the Kaja. You can catch somebody, all you have to do is guide and win to pull the other person back. And the best part is, RSG right now, in order to deal with the Kadita, what you can do is you can start building more Athena shields, right? Or maybe make it so you build a very front line, so tanky front line to the point that, the Kadita couldn't burst anybody down. And woo, that's a Martis coming out from Yon.
Yeah, it's potential Martis coming out from Yon, but we have seen Jay play Martis on the mid lane as well as the Terizla. So it can happen to be a flexible Martis, right? So Yon or Jay, Gear or Jay, Novaria, and Carry will of course be on Seiji. So Bleed still have an extremely flexible lineup, and for now, they do have the bans to think about. The EXP lane, the jungle, and Brayyy closer. You gotta start figuring the patterns out right now. The alpha?
Yep, the alpha taken away, and now Bleed is gonna start locking down on Brayy's hero. So now, interestingly, what Brayyy needs to pull out something new out of his pocket, maybe from his right pocket instead, right? He's been taking out all the heroes from his left pocket. But now, don't forget, ladies and gents, and let me add on another stick right here. RSG has no imports. These are true blue Singaporean team going up against Bleed with 2 imports, namely Sagitnu and Seiji from the Philippines as well. In terms of the stats that we always see, yeah, Bleed definitely has a better chance, right? But RSG, this is, if you're cheering for Singaporeans, this is the team you have to cheer for, which is RSG.
What's wrong with not being
What's wrong with not being Singaporean, man? You're talking to a Korean and a Myanmar guy right here. And you're Malaysian. Hey.
No, but I'm serious. Like, if you guys are looking out for, Singaporean players, these are RSG is a team that you're looking out for. But now let's take a look at the bans once again. Esmeralda ban, the Alpha ban, the Xborg ban, 3 bans going over the side of Brayyy. RSG, on the other hand, takes away the Minotaur and the Grok, taking away what gear wants to play.
Yeah, so not having that frontliner soak in terms of the roam, but I feel that Kaja will be on Derry, right? So they don't really need the Minotaur, they don't really need the Grok anymore, so they're just limiting the options for Bleed as much as possible. But now that Esmeralda has been taken out for Brayyy, so with that, I mean, he does have an option of going for the Barats as well. The Barats we have not seen any play in this series so far. He's extremely strong in dealing against the Martis as well. And Edith will actually be the pick of choice along with the Roger. And this will be the Roger in
jungle.
The jungle. Yes, it's going to be back to basics. So Roger on this assassin role in the jungle. It's what Brayyy is known for, right? So Brayyy is really strong in terms of the assassin role, and Jan is also known for this, but we have seen the Martis already picked up.
Yeah, but I really like RSG's lineup already, right? I feel like there's a pick-off potential. You can start things off. GodZilla is going to be super annoying on the Kadita. He's a well-known Kadita player. But Brayyy on the Roger and Edith, like, it just rounds out everything you want. You've got the damage, you've got the stuns, you have control, but the Tigreal.
We're going to see a J Terizla mid or a J Martis mid, right?
No, Novaria.
Oh, Novaria.
Yeah.
I was just hoping for it, man.
Yeah, the artist let him draw, but he's been drawing the same portrait for 3 games in a row. 3 games, he has consistently picked up the Novaria. Don't forget, this time around, the Astro Echo works very well for the Tigreal's ultimate and also the Terizla's ultimate. Everything works so well together for the side of Coach G.
Yeah, Coach G figuring out the pattern so far. And Team RSG, they have been responding extremely well, showing great resilience. Now pulling out the Kadita and the Kaja combo. It's going to be extremely scary, extremely fast-paced game going into Game 3. So RSG versus Bleed. We have it here, ladies and gentlemen. Things are already tied up at 1-1. This is going to be a best of 5, so let's see who goes the distance.
I think if we're going to go in the drafts themselves, there's a lot of pressure on Derry, right? Is he able to find the right pickoffs? If he, like, Divine Judgment Seiji, it's pretty much GG, because they have a lot of control, they have a lot of, you know, potential, like, stuns and all that, but they don't really have the damage, I would say. I mean, most of it is going to be through Seiji, so keeping him alive is going to be paramount.
Yeah, and Gear, I mean, in the early game, it feels like he's going to get bursted down by Kadita no matter what. But when it falls down to the mid stages, when it falls to the late stages, Gear is going to be a beast. And he's going to have the implosion available.
I don't know if you just saw that, but I think Derry just stole that Fenrir. So right under Jan's nose. So Jan being a little bit delayed in that sense.
What? Yeah, Derry has the purple buff right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's an uh-oh moment, really, for the side of Team Bleed, because Martis requires this amount of snowball going in, and despite the fact that Jan is still level 3, he does not have the purple buff for this early skirmish versus Brayyy, who is a Roger after all. He can dish out a lot of damage in this level 1 to level 3 stage.
Oh, but Gear's now shown himself. Derry's going to spot him out. I think Gear is going to make a beeline out of this one. But Derry chasing him, and I think they're just saying bad words at each other.
Telepathically. Yeah, but Jan right now, right, is not ready for a gank. He's lost 1 buff, and that is major problem that Bleed is working on right now. They need to fix the leak, be it duct tape or blue tack, anything. Just make sure that they keep the ship afloat.
Yeah, he might not reach level 4 at 2 minutes before the turtle spawns, and it's going to be a real problem because Brayy's going to have a great time zoning him out. He's almost level 5 already on this Roger. The amount of farm that they have taken away from the side of Team Bleed, RSG are doing an extremely good job of controlling the early game right now. And the turtle.
Great, working on the turtle right here. Derry doesn't really have level 4. Jan doesn't have the level 4 as well. He's going in with a little bit of a disadvantage, but he will try to go for it. Brayyy secures the turtle for himself, and now the Kaja unlocked. Gear dragged down to hell right here. Brayyy continues on the Lonsaw looking for Jan as well. Jan goes away, and the members on the side of Sagitnu just try to slow it down. 1v4. Everybody, the splash damage is there, but he's running out of steam right here. Jay landing on Snipe. Who will Snipe? Climbs onto closer, but no card, no dice for the side of RSG.
And RSG, They do get the turtle. They get the first blood as well. That's the Divine Judgment showing its hand. And Yon, throughout the entire fight, was level 3, finally hitting level 4 right now. That's not a position that you want to be in. Already a 1k gold lead this early on in this game. Relying on Seiji at this point.
Yon is 2 levels behind Brayyy, right? That totally like messed with him. Derry stealing that purple buff. And then just now he's like, Yon has to play catch up. He's so far behind. I'm sure psychologically he's like, there's way more pressure. I need to make plays. I need to get my farm.
Oh, Yon actually went for the Impure Rage on the Martis, not the Killing Spree. So he might be going towards a tanky reel, right?
Assassin Emblem though, but land down the shot. Gear will miss the dash for now. Derry dashes over the wall. Nothing. Bleed is forced to make some plays because to recuperate for the early game blunder. RSG in the leader's seat right now.
Yeah, RSG in the driver's seat. As we see, they will be dictating the pace of the game. But both marksmen...
nice charge!
Implosion, landing on the 3. The massive, the ultimate, wins Bleed back! Yon picking up the kill as well. And now going to be CS just dealing with Seiji Yon. And if you want to talk about how do you come back, this is how you come back.
Yeah, Team Bleed, they just found the formula with an implosion. One good time implosion is all it takes. And there was only one Purify, right? Only CS at the Purify, and he wasn't caught.
If you are a Tigreal main, you will be smiling at that play.
Yeah, that was such a sick play. It was funny because Gear, okay, as I say that, Gear...
Gotcha. Derry will be dragging Seiji as well. Petrified, but he will be able to get away. Purify. GodZilla still tags onto it. Jay trying to slow it down, but this time around it's going to be Bleed. That's taking the L. Now Sakino joining the fight, but gets pushed away. Brayyy deals with Gear, and now Sakino, what are you trying to do? You have no way. 1v4 though. There's no play. RSG, they will punish Bleed back.
5 is to 5. They keep things neck and neck. RSG, they will be able to get this turtle for free. And that's what you want to look out for Team RSG, right? The implosion timings from here. When it's off cooldown, you want to take the fight as much as possible. And RSG just brought it to the doorstep. Knock, who's there? Brayy's knocking.
Honestly, every time Derry, if he can get the Divine Judgment on the Seiji like he did that last time, I mean, it's pretty much just game over. There's so much pressure on Seiji to have that perfect positioning, make sure that he can do all the damage. If he gets caught out, he gets slowed up, he gets blown up, you're going to have a hard time as Team Bleed.
Yeah, with the Spirit Destruction available from the side of CS always. I mean, we talked about Jay playing the Novaria 3 games in a row. CS is also on the Moskov for the 3rd time in a row as well. So that just highlights his familiarity with this hero. And I mean, he's becoming one with the Moskov at this point.
Yeah, he's actually, if you guys notice, Moskov is actually left-handed.
Really?
Yeah.
I've
been playing too much Moskov recently. That's why I was like, okay, hold on a second. Bring up a left-handed now. It's going to be closer. Getting left for death. Seiji shredding him down. Good pick-off coming out from Bleed.
Yeah, and with closer out for the count, will RSG take advantage of this implosion not available? Derry was looking for something, trying to catch a Jay at the mid lane, but does not have the flicker available.
Damage being poured onto Yon right there. He will take some punishment. Gear will be able to catch onto Brayyy, but Brayyy still alive though, and now Gear! One more dog, destruction! Pierces him through his heart.
Yes. He's becoming one with the Moskov right now, and it's extremely scary to watch, especially when Gear's not available.
No, there's no play. Penalty zone landing onto Derry at the same time, just trying to defend. CS outputting damage. Brayyy goes on in on the Lycan form, takes down Sakino for that trade.
And this is what Brayyy is known for, right? When we saw him debut, it was on his Assassin Heroes, and now on this Roger, having this killer mentality, having the Assassin Strike, Brayyy will be able to take the life of Sakino right there.
Yeah, and that's Brayyy playing the Roger is like perfect, right? You see him and you're kind of like, he's just like this, this dare I say, kid, but then when you see him play, he turns into this wolf. He turns into this monster that just tears you up. And Brayyy is just on point. 2-1-5 already.
And the turtle being up right now, potentially the last turtle of the game, but Divine Judgment.
Divine Judgment will be landing onto Yon. Yon gets shredded immediately, and that's exactly what RSG is looking out for. Gear landing on the implosion, but to what cost right here? CG is unable to join the fight right here. Closer will be able to deal with it. Brayyy coming for the flank. There's a Sakino down! Trying to get it on the low. CS just pouring out a spear, one after another. RSG stomping onto Bleed at the home ground.
it's all about momentum, right? RSG, they look like they have so much momentum going into this game. It feels like they are having a choke on this game after that first team fight, despite the fact that implosions have been caught by Gear time and time again. You might kill closer, never mind, but your implosion is gone. Your key control is gone. Sagitnu does not have enough at this point with the penalty zone. Seiji does not have enough farms. Bleed, they can still wait for the key timings. Their key fight timings will be up once Jan gets more tank ability. He did go for the silence rope. He did go for all the tanky items. He does not have any Hunter Strike available, so he will become the frontliner for Team Bleed.
I feel like RSG have actually finally woken up. The tempo that they're playing is much faster. They're forcing things out.
Not only just that, Gear is also getting forced out. Implosion onto through 3 members, but not enough. A little bit slow coming up from Bleed right here. Now they may be punished. Derry right here setting up Brayyy, just spamming the damage onto Sagitnu, just like in Scroll, like in Pounds. And not only just that, Derry activated ultimate already. CS shredding to Seiji, the collateral onto Yawn and RSG. Man, what a dominant game by RSG.
No implosion available. Gear was forced to use it. Derry, we were talking about divine judgment prioritization, right? Just go on Gear, right? He's going to be the front line and force out the implosion. They don't have any other form of control. And now Yawn in a lot of trouble.
That's not a very good place right here. He tries to, but Brayyy will be able to find him. But nice Gear dashing to try to peel. Yawn ultimately goes down to Sagitnu, which will be traded. Brayyy, both of these 2 junglers already down. The snipe coming down. Not enough damage coming out from the side of the CS right here. Just has to dash over the wall, trying to get up.
Gear.
Destruction. He could go to the back though. But then Gear slowing down RSG's advances, and Blade finally trades 2 for 2.
The best thing about that one was CS staying alive, right? I think at the end of the day, you know, Closer kind of sacrificed himself for the greater good, but keeping CS alive, who's 4-1-6 and just shreds anyone that gets near, is super scary at this point.
Yeah, and this is where things get a lot more trickier. Gear is going to be much tankier. Seiji does have the damage in the backline as well, so Brayyy, you cannot go in as untethered as before. You cannot just jump in, you cannot just expect a kill. Yawn, he was indeed extremely low, but not finding that finishing touch. Yawn going for that tanky build proved to be Brayy's undoing at that point.
Yeah, and Derry making some great plays. The nice divine judgments, completely controlling when he needs to, forcing it out, isolating somebody so that Bleed were like, hey, actually, we didn't want to fight this one, but we were forced to because our teammate got pulled in.
Yep, I'm looking at that one symbol, right? You know, when we just need that one massive implosion coming out from Gear, but I'm not seeing it coming out from Bleed.
Yeah, it's still, he's being forced out. Derry has been doing a great job of forcing the implosion from Gear, finding him in an off position once again. And Derry does get the pick.
No, it's just that Sagitnu will be that one. Concealed play will be committed by Gear at the same time. Looking for the implosion, lands onto Derry and also Brayyy. Closer will be at the back line, dealing with Seiji. Seiji gets blown out to pieces by Bray's like in Pounds. He's a little bit too much for Bleed to handle, and now RSG comfortably steps forward. Brayyy looking for the kill, looking for the resets. Here goes another like a Pounds. Another one goes in. He's looking to pick up a double kill, ladies and gents. RSG overwhelming Bleed with a tremendous amount of damage.
Yeah, and with the macro game coming out from CS as well, he is going for the Lord in the background. They will be getting this Lord for free right here. And with the lane priority coming out from this Lord, RSG, they have a strong foothold in this game right now. CS, he was left untethered. He was available to throw out the spears again and again and again. Gear has not been finding the implosions onto him. Derry has been forcing the Bleed to make as bad decisions as possible.
Yeah, not the easiest of situations. I mean, it's only a 5-kill deficit, so to speak, but there's a 6K net worth lead that they need to deal with. And RSG are finding the right pickoffs. Brayyy is becoming this monster. GodZilla's very elusive. Derry's finding the right pickoffs. Like, the team is just really gelling well together. This is like really good draft by RSG.
Yeah, Astral Echo does give you the vision, but it does not matter if RSG are running at you. And that's what RSG has been doing with Brayyy in the front line. Closer, you've been dying again and again. Does not matter. It's for the greater good. It's for the sake of your team. And now with the Lord available, we might see a 5-on-5 here.
Right now, Lord Derry managed to catch somebody gear.
Oh, they
Responds with the implosion right underneath the noses of the turret. RSG training right here. Gear already down. Now Derry will be going next closer as well. And now the members of the Bleed will try to defend as much as they can. But the damage is coming through from RSG.
2 members down from RSG already, Derry and Closer, and they've taken almost all of the T3s. The Lord has done what they wanted, but now Bleed need to find some sort of opening with this, especially when they have a one-man advantage. But let me talk a little bit about Jace Novaria, right? The Echo, yeah, you've got vision or whatever, but it's like, hey, I've got, you know, I send it out, and I see that everybody, like the calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah, and it's going to be a game where RSG, they have played against this in the first game, right? They know that Jay is going to be poking consistently with his meteors. And RSG, they have learned to play around in the game 2. And game 3, it's where it's coming all to fruition.
Gear. Lands on implosion. That ultimate will miss. Yawn onto Brayyy as well. Goes into... Wait, hold on a second. Is that a Wind of Nature already activated by Brayyy?
GodZilla.
Get it caught! That's exactly what Bleed's looking out for. And now Closer will step forward just a little bit. Brayyy has to back off. He doesn't really have the HP. Closer flickers forward, but tags nobody from the side of Bleed.
All right, but Jay was cheating, okay? He went off the map. That's not fair.
I mean, it's a game mechanic. You're Farsa, you're a Novaria, you can just go out of the map. And that's one of the mechanics that Jay knows really well. He is still 2-0 at this point, the only positive KDA for the side of Team Bleed. But Seiji, he has been ramping up. Oh, okay, Seiji's 3-2 as well, positive KDA. But Seiji, he has been ramping up in terms of damage as well. It's going to be trickier and trickier as we head on into these later stages. 15 minutes, 18 minutes, when the Lord is spawning, Seiji's going to be dealing a lot of damage in the back line. And Gear's implosions, they've been getting more and more trickier to deal with.
Tricky, but Gear has died, you know, 6 times, which is quite a bit in this one. I mean, it's tough as the roam life. Obviously, you want to be up front, just trying to force it. But this is a situation where if you're not getting onto CS or Brayyy, you're wasting your time. I mean, yeah, GodZilla is great to get that nice pick off, but those are the 2 you really need to stop to kind of snowball the teamfight win.
Yeah, and you gotta counter the fact that CS, he has to purify as well. That's just a click away from getting out of implosion.
Brayyy securing the Lord for themselves. Gear looking for a concealed play, but a little bit late for the bus. The bus has left. The plane has gone. RSG takes away the Lord with them.
Yeah, and timing is gone for Team Bleed. They are still trying to force something here. Gear, he does get sniffed out. Derry will not commit the Divine Judgment here.
You don't want to fight this concealed play. Gear will get caught. CS will be there to burst. Flickers all the way back to safety. Brayyy goes into the Lycan Pounce, looking for an entry point. Bleed has to retreat. Bleed cannot handshake this team fight.
Yeah, he still has the implosion available. Bleed will be trying to find more favorable ground nearer to the base. But still, RSG, they have 2 auto turrets already taken away from Team Bleed. 6k gold lead. And all the creeps with the Lord are rushing into the base right now.
Brayyy coming from the side. He is slightly tankier because of the Thunderbelt as well. Derry looking for an entry point as well. GodZilla goes into the ultimate. Derry taking a lot of punishment for now. And not only just that, it's GodZilla goes into the back line. Jay already gone. And Brayyy will be there. Just stabbing Gil using the implosion. At what cost though? Because RSG just have to get the core. And RSG in the lead.
RSG will be taking game 2. I mean, Series 2, right? They got 2-1. Third game already taken. No longer a tiebreaker. RSG in the driver's foot right now. And it looked like they had key momentum in the game. It looked like they figured out what Bleed were doing with the Novaria. We were talking about Jay's Novaria doing so well in game 1.
Let Brayyy cook. At the end of the day, he's the one that's really stepped up. He's been a menace. He's getting all these kills. Like, he's the next carry. I mean, he's everything that you want as a jungler. He's ensuring that he's enforcing it, like map control, jungle invades, everything. He's doing everything well.
Yeah, I think it started wrong for the get-go for the side of Bleed. Kaja taking the purple buff was a hee-hee moment from Derry, man. And not only just that, Brayyy, that step up, bro. He has grown, and he is like literally 1 game away from redeeming himself as compared to his last season.
Yeah, I mean, Derry, you talked about it, right? Taking away the purple buff. That was one of the... What?
Uh-oh.
Just a brain fart moment. Like, what's going on? Like, how did he get the purple buff? And Yon did not recover from that at all. He had to go into this build where he was trying to tank as a Martis. And you mean, as a Martis, there are better tanks for that, right? There are better heroes. There are more suited for that. Martis, you want to be out there killing, decimating as much as possible. Yon did get the early game momentum. He did get 3 kills in 1 team fight. And that was all.
But for the MVP, who do you think it is from Team RSG?
I'm giving it Brayyy.
giving it
Brayyy really just worked out really well as well. And apart from that, an honorable mention will be Derry as well because of his catches. Super on point. Seiji was scared the whole game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't get near him, right? And it's one of those things where even if he flickers, and Gear tried to stand off in front to kind of protect him, but then Gear was kind of vulnerable, but hey, looks like it's going to be Brayyy.
Yeah, Brayyy going for the Thunder Belt and the endless battle. I mean, you like this build, right? Tanky, yet you can deal some form of damage. That's why we saw Brayyy so unabated. He can jump in because he has some form of sustain. He has some form of damage as well, and a lot of damage mitigation.
Yep, and if you take a look at this build, right? This build is very reminiscent of the older Roger days where you abuse the fact that you can use the passive of your endless battle and also your Thunderbelt as well. And Anti-Kuratsu is a very wise choice, right? Because the main damage dealer from the side of Bleed Esports is that you want to be a little bit careful with the Terizla's damage. Because if you notice, Sagitnu is always one before, and it always seems like he almost can, but he cannot in the end. So that's why he's already starting to prepare for that and definitely going into the immortality already. He's already one tanky boy. And it's really interesting how Brayyy pulled something, a blast from the past from, like Season 1 or Season 2.
Yeah, the AoE factor not enough from the side of Team Bleed. Astral Echo and Penalty Zone were key factors that nearly got them back into the game, together with the implosion as well. Gear, I mean, he did catch extremely amazing implosions, but still, no cigar if you can't kill them, right?
Yeah, and Holland, correct me if I'm wrong, if you later on we take a look at highlights, right? It just feels like RSG adapted very quickly on the fly because all of a sudden Gear was getting his massive catches, right? But after a while, he caught anchovies instead of big fishes.
No, he was, it was one of those moments where trying to find it out, and getting Seiji was like the biggest thing, right? There were a couple pickoffs that Derry did. He's like perfectly up front, scouting it out. You'll see some of these highlights where everybody's playing scared. Even with the spear coming in, the AoE, they can't be grouped up. They can't really fight the way they want to fight. And so they just kind of tore it up. Like, Seiji gets closer here, but Sakinu on the run. Look at Brayyy just on the front line. Be like, okay, I'll just have my food to go then.
Yeah, and the thing is, CS, he's so good with his timings, right? He knows when the implosion is not available and what distance, what spacing he has to play away as the goal laner. And Brayyy getting caught right here, but, I mean, still, he is a Roger after all, but GodZilla will eventually go down right here, but it does not matter. I mean, the team is still very strong without GodZilla available, and that just goes to show how big of a factor CS and Brayyy are in this entire scheme of things.
Yeah, they were just, like, going in when they needed to have done, and just, like, the team is really starting to shine at this point. It's starting to get really scary.
Extremely scary for the side of Team Bleed, indeed.
RSG got this game because of Khajiit combo. And if you notice, like, in the past few picker bands from the side of Bleed, they ignored the Khajiit. And it's only at this crucial moment Pacifist decides to bring it up.
Yeah, and will it be a factor going into Game 3, all right? But let's just talk about that later. We do have the itemizations out from Team RSG and Team Bleed. We were talking about Yon, right? Yon being forced into this position where he had to go for sustainability, tankability, because he had to be the frontliner in this early to mid-game stages. He cannot afford to go for Hunter Strike anymore because he was so down in momentum. He was level 3 when Brayyy was level 5 already.
This is tough. This is a tough situation to be in as Bleed, right? You just lost 2 games in a row. Your backs are on the wall, so to speak. Loser goes home here. There's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure on Bleed. Jace, you were talking about the fact that Gear, there's a lot of pressure on him already. This is going to exacerbate this.
Yeah.
Getting to this level of this Game 4 now where, he needs to really make plays to give his team a chance. And it wasn't his finest moment. I mean, he's 3-6-8. He did struggle a bit. Wasn't able to kind of get going. But I also want to kind of point out as Sagitnu, right? I feel like the impact on the Terizla, yeah, he had some decent penalty zones, but he wasn't really able to kind of be that tanky frontline monster that we expect out of a Terizla.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling the impact coming off of Sagitnu, unfortunately. If you notice that, yes, there's a lot of counter catch. There's a lot of easy follow-up catches, but it was mostly RSG just dictating how to play the game, how they want to play the game, when they want to play the game. Because Derry just walking up on conceal, everybody just buggers out because this guy is having a loaded gun pointing at everybody and not firing it at some point. And Seiji was playing scared. And if your carry is not playing scared, you're unable to land down the damage. Consistent damage from CS is constantly outputting. It's a little bit too much for Bleed to handle.
Yeah, the constant fear factor from RSG. Divine Judgment, most of the time, was used for gear. But still, GodZilla, you have to account for the fact that there's a Kadita in the background. You have to account for the fact that there's a wolf hiding in the jungle. And Seiji could not get any form of damage in. We know what his carry can do, and we know the amount of damage that he can potentially output, but he could not join these team fights because of these fear factors, right? You have the combo coming out from GodZilla, and I love the fact that GodZilla and Derry, they're playing a part. Only in the early game where they use the combo to the full effect, but otherwise, they just use CS and Divine Judgment to be the battery for the side of Team RSG. And GodZilla will be playing like the individual unit, trying to suss out Seiji, making sure he does not connect with the team fight at all. And it was extremely well done from RSG to figure out these patterns from Bleed, despite the fact that they had an Astral Echo.
Yeah, if we're talking about the past 3 games, I mean, the first 2, excuse me, I didn't think that there was a huge advantage in terms of the draft, but this game, I felt like RSG had an edge. Right? Like it was very streamlined. They understood what they needed to have done. It was just like perfectly played. But I kind of struggled from Bleed's side of like, how do you counter this?
I mean, just don't give up your purple buff in the...
just the easy as that? GG, go next at the first like 30 seconds.
Yeah, if you notice from the side of RSG, there's a lot of... there's 2 DPSs from the side of CS and Closer. Then you got your bursty burst coming up from GodZilla and Brayyy that does execution. So right here, if you take a look at RSG, this is a lot of damage that, CS, GodZilla, Brayyy, and Closer will be able to do. First from Bleed, most of the damage should be coming out from Seiji and of course Jay, right? But Jay is a poke burst damage, right? But if Yon wasn't able to get that lead in the early game to basically get into a good position to execute people where Jay is just landing down the first shot, yeah, and basically, RSG solved Yon in the early game, but just by that one steal.
Yeah, and the momentum just carried over dividends so much for Team RSG, right? For Bleed, Yon, he was just unlucky. I just feel like he's just unlucky, caught in a bad situation. It happens, but we are moving towards Game 4 sooner or later, and they will have to reset their mental state going in. Gear, he did have a lot of comeback mechanisms in the form of the implosion. We did see the team fight where Yon picked up almost 3 kills. And
you talk about Yon being just unlucky. I don't think that that's the thing. Where I felt like Bleed needs to, prioritize Yon getting his blue buff, like purple buff, right? Like Gear probably needed to scurry away Derry to be, instead of just hiding in the bushes and just taking that away. I think it was a Ring of Order that he ended up getting the pickoff with for the Fenrir. But it's one of those things where you control your own luck in some certain situations.
Yeah, and we do see the damage being dealt, right? Jay still at the top there, 124k as a Novaria. He is one force to be reckoned with. He did not die at all, but RSG, they did have to sustain this time. GodZilla Closer going down again and again, does not matter for Team RSG. In the greater scheme of things, as long as CS is alive, as long as the Meteor does not land onto CS, and as long as he can keep sustaining, it's going to be the key fighting factor for RSG to go again and again and again.
Yep. Definitely looking forward to what both these 2 teams have in store for us in game number 4, man. Because, man, there's so many things that both these 2 teams are looking out for. And now RSG is one step into, going into the grand finals as well. Just one more game and that's it, right? Bleed, on the other hand, they need a clean 2-0 in order to get into where they deserve. Don't forget, Bleed last season, the positioning was around 5th and 6th. At least this is the highest, one of the second highest they've been through. But we've seen them falter before, and they're definitely looking at least the grand final slot.
Yeah, grand finals will be coming up later today. But before that, there is a QR code on the screen right now. And for those of you live, you can scan the QR code as well. It's on the top right. It's for any feedback. Oh, okay, it's on the top right. Top left? Top right?
It's on top of me.
I
over
didn't
here.
even bother
It's left
because
for me, right
I
for you guys.
because
So-
I know it's gonna be wrong. Hey,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So just scan the QR code, give us feedback, tell us how to improve on the next few events, and we can make it better for you guys as well.
Yeah, we want to hear from you guys, especially when especially when we want to grow the MPL Singapore scene. Every single feedback is definitely going to be looked at and also taken into account.
Yeah, and also if you've got some, feedback that you want to give to the casters, especially the negative side, please do reach out to Such Abstract.
Yeah, Such Abstract at Such Abstract. If you got any complaints, anything, just go to Such Abstract.
Yeah.
Right?
He just wants to talk to you, actually.
But talking about feedback, right? Let's find out about feedback from Professor Churros in Off the Desk.
Prof. Churros here, and can I say so much to talk about in this game. The Kajita combo finally comes out. I mean, I remember the entire regular season, GodZilla pulled out his one Kadita, Derry put out the Kajet at one time. Every team was banning it for RSG. Bleed leaving it open was just so good for RSG, and they played it to the T. And not only these two players, but CS has really shown his growth since the first game of this match. And even Brayyy, though, every single time he tries to get in, he's always somehow alive. I don't even know why. So a lot to break down. Let's just start off with this fight. It's the first Lord fight that RSG and Bleed are facing up against. And in this case, Gear was already in that dot bush right by the Golem, but in the old metrics, he would have been able to take out Brayyy if he just used his second skill to just trap Brayyy in this position. Closer has set his eyes up on Seiji, and the fact of the matter is, with his Primal Wrath, he has that damage to take Seiji down, as well as survive enough from Seiji's damage to be able to take him down instead. So let's see what Gear does. He pops his Conceal, goes into Brayyy, pops a nice implosion, but the rest of the members of RSG, they're safe, especially CS, and that is where all things break apart for the side of Bleed. Closer is already in. He's already popped his Primal Wrath. He got his vision on where Jay and Sakitnu is. So all CS needs to do is just stay at the back, just act like an Uzi or a minigun, whatever gun he has, he just throws onto the first member that he sees, creating so much space just because GodZilla is right there. It's basically like a mage version of a Natalia, so to speak. So coming in, Brayyy already coming in. You don't have Seiji. Bleed's on the run. Brayyy is just right there going ham. He's got a lot of damage, a lot of sustain, and for a fun fact for you guys, Roger's one of those marksman heroes that's also a fighter. And with that fighter-based defense, he's able to survive a lot of these crowd control initiations that Bleed lays onto them. This was the second fight, and I just had to point this out that it's a Chop Prodigy versus Chop Prodigy kind of a gameplay. Gear hits a very nice 4-man implosion that somehow they just lose. So I was like pausing this entire sequence frame by frame. This is the point where Gear was able to use his implosion. He starts it off, he has his flicker down, so he flickers in onto these 4 members right here. So in all metrics, RSG would have been stunned up and just completely decimated by Bleed, but Seiji is way too far from the rest of the team. Jay doesn't have a lot of damage. Once CS actually pops his Purify, he gets out. You notice that once he gets out, he knocks everyone back, especially the Tigreal, with his second skill. And once the crowd control has been done, he just hits from that back. He heals everything back up, and that was just so beautiful, so well counterplayed by RSG. I just can't hold my excitement. And this was just an incredible game by RSG. This was the last fight that came through. I just want to note that the mechanics of GodZilla on this Kadita just blows my mind every single time. Usually what Kadita players would do is use the skill 1 in, Petrify, use the skill 2 just to get that knock up and then hit your ultimate. So skill 1, 2, 3. But Roy does something, or GodZilla does something different here. Notice how, at that point, he wants to go for Seiji, but instead of going in with that skill 1, skill 2 combo, he goes in with the rough ways first uses his skill 1 to close the distance and petrify just to take out Jay. So you have a lot of damage on the Kadita. He's playing into the T. He knows the heroes ins and outs. One more game until RSG are able to have their revenge match against Flash in the grand finals. Will they be able to do it, boys? Take it away.
We are at 2-1 right now, ladies and gentlemen. RSG has taken the lead at 2 points to Bleed's 1. And Bleed, they have a lot to answer for. RSG, they have shown resilience time and time again. And it feels like Bleed's strats are getting found out so far. So it's up to them right now to see whether they have anything left behind the hood.
I think right now, because of how Coach G is banning out Bray's heroes, especially taking away the X-Borg, the Alphas, etc., you open up a different book. All right, Pacifist starts to dig even deeper, and now he's pulling out random variables at you. Now you're like, okay, how do I deal with this one? He's never pulled out this one before, and now because Brayyy, don't forget, you cannot ban this guy out.
Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe the chess match starts a little bit earlier in the sense that, like, you know, RSG CS has picked the Moskov every single game. Maybe you look to ban that first phase, maybe then play something he might not be as comfortable on, or to change up the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, speaking of changing up the strategy, let's change up the strategy and about how we're taking a seat right here. So we have our sponsors, of course, OSIM, U-Throne, and U-Squeeze on the arm massager, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah, that thing. Yep.
We all know that gaming can get tiring sometimes, right? So we here at OSIM are here to support your gaming career, even if nobody else in the game does. So we do have the U-Throne series available. And of course, there is the Transformers series available for those Transformers fans as well.
Now, I want you guys to close your eyes and imagine this, right? Get an OSIM V-Throne, and then U-Throne V, and then after that you have 2 U-Squeeze arm as you play MLBB. That's the life, ladies.
Like, would it...
Here.
Yeah, no, I get this, but then would it not be, like, kind of throwing you off a little bit?
No, I feel like it's going to help you with the blood circulation.
Okay.
It's definitely going to help.
I would love to try that.
And the blood circulation in the head needs to be on point right now for Bleed, because they are going into this banning and drafting phase right now. The X-Borg Angela being very stable. Harif and Brayyy will be taken out, but the Kadita's still on the board, right? Oh, okay, they do take it out.
No, it's a respect ban at this point. I think GodZilla played it quite well. You gotta kind of... it was super annoying to deal with. He was waiting in the wings at all times. It would just blow people up. I mean, that was the only kill that they ended up getting onto Jay, so probably something that they wanted to have removed here. But again, we're going into this one. Bleed have first pick here. Who do you think that they'll pick up here?
Moskov?
Not the Novaria.
The Novaria. Okay, Moskov it is.
Yeah, Moskov.
Gotta love it, yep.
So RSG, they will have to answer to Team Bleed, right? We see the answer usually being the form of a carry or a Nathan. So RSG, they can pick up one of those, but they do choose to go for the Minotaur Fredrin first, being an extremely strong combo in terms of crowd control, in terms of taking the team fight as well. So with the Energy Eruption, with the Minoan Fury, extremely big AoEs, big areas of control. RSG, they're going for the team fights. Team Bleed.
Yeah, so yesterday, okay, they're going to pick the Grok. I thought that they would maybe even pick the same heroes that RSG did in the last game. I mean, we know that Gear was a Kaja main. He said it on the mic check. But the Grok here makes a lot of sense. It provides a lot of vision. The barrier is super annoying to deal with and can kind of provide a lot, especially with the, like, you box them in, let Moskov throw the spear, and let them work, right? So it kind of combos quite well here.
Yeah, and with this, right, the Martis being picked up from Team Bleed, but RSG, you ban out the Kadita, you ban out the Loi. For GodZilla, the Faramis is still available, but will they go for the carry first? No, actually, they go for the Roger here. That Roger, I mean, it can't be a flex pick. Yeah, Brayyy can play the Roger as well. CS can be on the Roger on the gold lane, but more likely that we see Brayyy on this, right? With the Fredrin on the EXP lane, maybe?
Okay, there's also a case where you bring the Fredrin to the EXP lane. Yep, I agree. So it's a little bit of flex coming out from RSG. I like what Pacifist is thinking right now.
And the Novaria will be taken out for the count. So no Novaria this time for Jay, but he is an artist after all. We know him
for his versatile hero pose, and he has been playing the Novaria first 3 games, but he still has a lot to offer. From Team Bleed, there's a lot of choices to think about right now. The Roger is extremely flexible, the Fredrin is extremely flexible as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you need, right? Going into the first phase of the bans, like, Bleed is very locked in. I don't think that there's any choice of, like, or any question as of where these heroes are going to go. But the RSG side, very different. I think that you have some flexibility, but with that, I mean, what kind of synergizes well with RSG's lineup? You have the Roger and the Minotaur going to kind of run at you. You got the Fredrin as a tanky, you know, SOB, so to speak. You have a lot of frontline action. You probably need some sort of mage or some sort of caster to kind of, you know, provide damage from afar, right?
Yeah, and one of the key factors, right, you think about, usually that's very combo well with Minotaur and Fredrin that we see in other regions would be the Vexana having that knock-up, having that damage as well. And they have taken out the Novaria, they've taken out the Sicilian. That might be the RSG game plan right now to go for the Vexana onto GodZilla. The Faramis would be a good pick as well, because the Netherrealm would be a very, very key deciding factor to stop Martis from snowballing with his Decimate.
Yeah. There's a lot of action that they can kind of force, so to speak. It looks like the Terizla and the Valentina ban, the Sicilian, the Novaria, like just taking out some of the squishier heroes. Not the Terizla, but you have...
It's got to be the Faramis here, right? The Valentina is out.
Actually, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But would... Okay, then I'm trying to see. The Fredrin XP closer, Roger on Brayyy, Derry on the Minotaur, that's fine. It actually, yeah, there's definitely an opening here, but then they're running at you, right? You got the Faramis, then you need somebody else that's kind of somewhat of a caster. Like, they're...
Okay. They're going for the Farsa, and with that Bleed, they can pick up the Faramis for themselves, actually, if they wish to do so. Jay does play in a mean Faramis, and if they want to play against this kind of lineup, they will require some form of knockups and control. They currently only have the Grok wall charge to be any form of AoE control available. So Bleed, I mean, they have the Arlot available as well. They can play on Sagitnu if they wish to do so. The Paquito might be a choice if they're going for a macro play.
Yeah, you need some... Okay, the Farza, the Feathered Airstrike, super annoying with the zoning, but you need some way to reliably get on him. I don't know if the spears are enough. Art is kind of dancing his way across, maybe, but okay. The Lilia pick, your thoughts on that one, as well as the Ruby?
Yeah, I mean, the Lilia pick would be a lot of area of control, especially if you have a lot of farm available. Extremely annoying to deal with, a lot of sustain as well with the black shoes. But the thing is, for Team Bleed, I feel that they do not have any form of soft support. They only have a Grok. So it's going to be a lot on the laning stages where they have to get a lot of advantage as much as possible for Yan on the Martis. So it's gonna fall down to not getting your purple buff stolen again from the side of Team Bleed. And finally, from the side of RSG, will be Esmeralda. Very good at dealing against these high sustain heroes. Extremely good at dealing against some Martis. But with this lineup, I mean, I'm surprised that they went for the Farser here. Because Fredrin, Esmeralda, with the Faramis, it just looks unkillable.
It looks unkillable, but basically, most of the damage is going to come out of the Farsa Roger, right? For this one. So I think that they had that kind of draft set in mind. Going into this game, though, I kind of like RSG's lineup a little bit more.
Yeah. RSG, I gotta favor their lineup a lot more right here. Team Bleed, they will have to get as much early game advantage as possible. Their only fallback strategy would be on the Lilia and the Moskov. Lilia extremely good at clearing waves, while Moskov is good at late game damage as well.
Like, even if you were a Seiji to spear in, like, who are you going to focus? All of these are tankier guys that have some sort of actually want to get in your face. Like, I don't know if it's a Moskov if you want to be making the jump at any point.
Yeah, but we'll just find out in the game here, ladies and gentlemen, as we head into Game 4 of Bleed versus RSG in the conclusion of Losers Bracket Finals for MPL Season 7.
Okay, looks like Yon's going to farm. I don't see Derry anywhere nearby. He's in the mid lane. You got to always make sure you know where he is. And it looks like they're kind of pushing Derry away. I don't know if they did this on purpose to kind of protect the purple buff.
Yeah, and it falls to the point where, you know, you don't want Yon.
They're going to try to go for it.
Closer.
So close. That was really close.
Yeah, that was just a callback to the last game, and they don't let that happen again. Yon just saving his retribution this time. Does not want to fall to the same mistake of using the retribution a bit too early and getting it stolen, potentially by Closer or anyone else for RSG for that matter.
Now you have a bit of a push up in the XP lane, but members of the mid lane, you're getting stunned up as a rock. But we talk about the bottom lane matchup as well. It's going to be Moskov that should be winning against the Roger because, you know, Seiji can pick when to disengage very easily. So yeah, it's up to RSG to pull the stops right now.
Yeah, RSG, they will have a lot of momentum on their hands because they do need to stop this early game roll through coming out from Martis, right? They have to play keep away as much as possible. They have to invade. They have to just suss out this Martis where he's at. And Yon, he's having a better game than game 3 right now. He's already level 4. He will be able to contest this turtle here. And Lilia will be challenged by Brayyy right now.
Yeah, it's going to be challenged here. But like, look at Yon making his appearance. The turtle's going to be the big piece here. GodZilla has not been shown, though, so Sagitnu might be walking into a trap. Okay, GodZilla shows himself and says, surprise, and then just walks away.
Yeah, GodZilla's trying to hit level 4 off that creep here. Would have the Feather Airstrike available. Derry is still no Minoran Fury yet, and Gear would be hitting Wall Charge extremely soon.
Yep, already got it already. Whether he wants to pull on, that's going to be committed onto Derry instead. Feather Airstrike already committed by GodZilla. Closer coming in with the first blood. Landing onto Gear instead, and not only just that, Yon also takes a fall. RSG, that's a red comment to the turtle.
Yeah, they'll take it. They'll take it. And really nice fight, 2-0. Just everything on top. And again, it was kind of like the start with, we're just going to jump on Derry. We'll start things off. And Derry's like, sure, I'm not level 4, but okay, I got stomped. I'm going to control you. And Gear got caught out, as well as Yon.
Yeah, that's what RSG had to do. They had to keep eyes on Yon at all times. And with that Feather Airstrike, you want to play keep away onto Yon. And this is what RSG game plan is. It's slowly coming into fruition. We're seeing it live for ourselves right now. And GodZilla, it falls down to execution. Whether he can keep away Martis consistently and stop Bleed from snowballing this early game.
One thing, though, is that Seiji's been largely quiet, needs to farm, just needs to quietly do so and be uncontested, so to speak. He needs to out-farm CS as much as possible, but it looks like he's kind of losing this battle.
Yeah, CS is actually doing a lot of damage. Seiji, also, if you take a look at the EXP, it's in the favor of CS right here. He's stepping up. Now, Gear joining a fray. Yon hoping to make a play right here. The Guardian Barrier, the wall has been set up. He's got stunned. Flicker, wall charge right into 2. No follow-up coming up from Bleed for now.
Purify being committed onto CS at this point would mean that they can envelop the bottom lane right now, but RSG is there to reinforce. There's both teams playing around the objectives extremely clearly, and CS this time, he goes for the Windtalker first item.
Yeah, Purify, Flicker, both expended there, but worth it, right? There was a huge amount of a commitment from Bleed trying to get those ganks. It had a potential to do so, but unfortunately, they came out with nothing. So, wasted time.
I'm offended, committed onto GodZilla as well. Derry will be joining closer, setting up the front line. Jay and Sagitnu couldn't get to GodZilla at all.
Yeah, eyes on the prize here. They're just trying to force an early skirmish so that they can secure an easier turtle. And 3v3 at the mid lane right now, Closer. Still not in any form of trouble. Still 14 seconds away from the turtle. And they want to secure as much map advantage as possible for RSG. Bleed, they still have Seiji pushing on the top lane as well.
Yep, lane swap committed for both these two teams. Bleed looking for the long game. RSG, you saw the Windtalker for the side. CS, they want a spike in the mid game.
Yeah, that's going to be a mid-game power spike coming through from the side of RSG. But Bleed are answering very, very well. Just trying to prioritize Seiji at this point. Not forcing these early skirmishes until they have the upper hand. They're waiting for the power spikes coming out from these items. Closer, not going to be in any trouble, but he does get chunked down.
Bottom lane, that's going to be a pick off at the same time. Closer a little bit low, but here comes the bottom lane dive from the side of RSG. Brayyy gets taken on. Yon will be trading for that one, but Seiji trades up top. Sagitnu will fall. Yon will also fall because of CS when the mid-game power spike coming in.
Yeah, and that's huge coming out from Team RSG, right? But Seiji is still farming. RSG, they want to get these kills as fast as possible, as much as possible, to stop Yon from getting any form of snowball. And look at the Spirit Destruction.
It lands. Seiji gonna pull it. That CS getting a lot of damage right here. Like Compounds will be committed by now. Derry needs to climb and reinforce. Seiji is still alive though. And not only just that, he's also Wall charge flicker, but CS gets away alive.
CS stays alive. He finds the recall button, flexes it a bit, but the energy eruption.
Oh, now Bleed has been too much. You can chill. Praises right will be able to tag onto Closer. Sakitnu instead. Closer coming in. Ultimate will be committed. I'm offended. Already built. The walls are built as well. Seiji looking for the damage, but he has to run away. Bleed has expended too much for that one.
Yeah, game plan here from RSG. Keep CS alive, and they do work out perfectly. CS available to farm on the top lane, will get the macro game going. Meanwhile, Seiji on the bottom lane has Brayyy to handle as well.
Gear, I don't know if you saw that, but his barriers were like the perfectly timed, you know, zombies are running at you, which are RSG, and he just like shuts the door right at the right moment to just kind of cut off their retreat. Very well played by Gear, keeping themselves alive. But Brayyy, 1 versus 3.
Energy Eruption already committed onto Seiji. Members of RSG on the other side of the map. This is just Sakitnu against 3 members. He has to defend, he has to spin, he has to offend, but Flicker's already committed. Derry a little bit low. Jay looking for the pick off his here. CS will get tagged by the Spear of Destruction. Gear coming in for the secondary engage. But where's the follow-up complete?
There's no follow-up whatsoever. So RSG, they do manage to disengage from their Derry. He will keep his life for now. Flicker already committed. He does have the Minoan Fury.
Jay! Ultimate already committed. Feather airstrike lands onto Jay. Jay has to play a little bit safe for now. Turtle already secured by the side of RSG. There's no way the Bleed is going to be able to step inwards. 5 members just making sure Brayyy gets the prize and Closer steps forward. Jay just has to wave clear mid lane. No dice coming out from Bleed. They just have to give up this Turtle.
Yeah, nothing available from Bleed at this point, and this is how RSG has to play, especially with this Roger. But Seiji is doing an extremely good job of responding, getting these macro game up, getting the top turret, then the bottom turret as well. Seiji, I'm pretty sure his farm is the only thing that's keeping Bleed in this game at this point, because they are still 3K, 2K? Yeah, 2K net worth advantage from the side of Team RSG, and 8 minutes in is not really too big of a deal.
Not too big of a deal, but it is definitely worrying. That's about an item. I mean, obviously it's spread across through all of them. So still a very difficult situation because there's a lot of pressure that's being put on to Bleed here, as it looks like Brayyy are invading the jungle. Yeah, just very difficult situation for Bleed.
Yeah, and the orange buff will not be contested. No retribution from the side of Yawn. Already used it on the purple buff here, and Feather Airstrike.
Once again, tags onto Jay. Yawn focusing on Derry instead. That's not your main target. Your main target is GodZilla, but Yawn will still able to take down Derry though. CS jumping in for the fight. Yawn will get traded second. No, I'm offended. Tags onto GodZilla. CS on the like Pounds. Closer will be coming closer and inching towards a flank. Bleed just retreats, just making sure they defend the mid lane turret as much as possible.
Yeah, Bleed still trying to buy time for Seiji as much as possible. No objectives to be taken, no fights yet. But Closer and Brayyy are doing such a good job at taking map control away. And now, with this mid turret being taken down, they will try to get Seiji as much as possible. And RSG's game plan at this point will be to stop this macro gameplay coming out from Team Bleed.
Yeah, Seiji is starting to, he needs, he's running out of time, right? CS is starting to really get some items, but Jay,
GodZilla doesn't really have the mana. Wings by Wings just to get on there. Closer jumps onto Jay. Will he be able to slip on by? Gear on the chase onto Closer as well, but CS is wrecking out a lot of trouble. Up top instead, trying to wave clear. Bleed cannot capitalize on RSG.
Yeah, and I like the fact that RSG has put someone onto Seiji duty at all times. You need to have the split push being controlled. And Brayyy was there at the bottom lane just to stop Seiji from advancing that bottom lane priority. And with that, they managed to secure the Lord right now.
Not 100%. They're looking to control it. The Spear. If he wants to go.
Seiji will not go for it. Brayyy secures the Lord for themselves. RSG in control right now in the mid game.
If he went for it, it'll be too trigger happy, right?
Yeah.
He'll be jumping into the pit with everybody around, and yeah, that's just not a good time. And Seiji, he is still racking up in farm 0-0-0. He does have the Holy Trinity right now. He has picked up the Demon Hunter Sword already.
Look how scary CS is. Oh, the Feather Airstrike.
Oh my goodness, Sakitnu. CS tries to go for it. Sakitnu flickers all the way out. They will take that trade. GodZilla goes in wing by wings. Brayyy stepping forward as well, but it's a bait. Derry already committed. Brayyy would not be able to tag onto anybody. Bleed backs off.
Yeah, controlled immunity out from Gear at that point, not catching anyone with the Mono Fury, but they still does not catch anyone with I'm Offended.
Oh, the closer going in with the ultimate, and now Gear wild charge right in the face. Sage is trying to output the bad damage, but Bleed has not enough damage at all.
Lord is pushing in the top lane as well. Bleed focusing on this mid. RSG just trying to choke them out. Bleed just trying to stem the bleeding. Do what you can.
GodZilla, prime point, but GodZilla will get fished, but Sagitnu, Yarn spin for the win, but the Lord's actually working up top, and I think that's what RSG would love to trade, but good damage and good defense coming out from Bleed right now.
Oh, Brayyy.
Brayyy, energy eruption taking on to 5 at the same time. The fight's not over yet. Brayyy with a lot of Abrasive's rep. I think he gets cancelled, but Bleed, they tried to punish RSG's greed. Bleed will bite the dust for now.
And still extended team fight might be going on.
Extended
Derry.
team fight. I'm not too sure whether this is right though. Closer stepping forward. Ultimate already committed. Yawn goes to CC immunity, and Yawn will get scratched by CS. One more member down for the side of Bleed.
Yeah, RSG identifying the fact that they had the lane priority. There will not be too many members of Bleed available, and with Moskov being sighted on the bottom lane, they just made the decision, the snap call right there to go for that team fight. And RSG are showing some bloodthirsty work right now in terms of decision making. They are making Bleed work for the game 4.
They're going to work for it, but you know, this is a situation where RSG is still in the driver's seat, right? They've taken out everything. If we're looking at Yawn, he's actually fallen behind. He was going neck and neck with Brayyy, but now that, you know, RSG have controlled the map, he's 2 levels behind. Very difficult situation. And now CS and GodZilla finding the recall button.
Oh,
let's do
man.
Dance Dance Revolution.
Yeah, I think the recall button is kind of jammed for RSG right now. But still, we do have a 5-on-5 potentially about to unfurl here as Gear. He is in position for something, but he is alone.
CS performed 301 against the farmer. Now BOD is going to do monster amount of damage against Bleed.
Yeah, and with the Lord spawning in 7 seconds. It's going to be a bloodbath really, really soon, as Bleed will have to fight for this.
Stemming the bleed, stemming the bleeding is what Bleed needs to do right now. 1 game away, RSG. They might secure the grand finals with this particular fight.
Oh, nice stomp.
Yeah, still not finding
Closer.
any position.
Getting closer. Better airstrike to zone. Brayyy walks on the Lord and closer down a bit low. And Minotaur goes in with a bit on Furry. Blows up Yawn. Jay will be able to trade for that one.
Yeah, Seiji does get a counter kill onto Derry. Still, 1-for-1 trade. Lord being taken from the side of Team RSG. They will have the advantage so far. Closer.
Closer
He's
stepping forward.
soaking so much damage.
The wall will be built. Closer just ignores all the damage, just shrugs it off like a boss.
Yes, Closer is just soaking, and it's just not dying at this point. Extremely scary stuff to deal with from the side of Team RSG. And with that, CS hasn't died yet. Despite the fact that Seiji has so much damage, he can only find the frontliner, which is Derry at this point. Bleed, their lack of catch is really, really showing at this point. And RSG, they are just running all over your base.
Yeah, if you have perfect positioning as RSG, it's really difficult for Bleed to find any sort of
GodZilla,
pickoff here.
Jay,
GodZilla
will be able to find that one. GodZilla just hides in the wall as well. Jay couldn't do anything, but he's actually taking a little bit of the damage. GodZilla will be able to step out just away. Seiji works on the Lord, but the Lord has already dealt important damage, permanent damage, mind you, up top.
Yeah, no more inhibitor turret on the top lane. Seiji will be on creep duty on the bottom lane as well. With the Lilia available, they do have a lot of creep here. Bleed have the option of going for this long turtle game before the next Lord spawns. But if they get caught out of position here...
Yeah, better airstrike, GodZilla. Man, GodZilla is a mosquito! At that point, it's a very hard itch to scratch. And Bleed cannot step forward, cannot find anything. Look at Sages is barely tickling Closer.
Yeah, Closer is not gonna be tickled.
Might not be able to take that one. Yawn just frontlining, just making sure that Seiji stays up alive. Brayyy jumping over the wall. Yawn just one more dog. GodZilla will pick up the kill. Gear, on the other hand, has to back away.
Yeah, Yawn getting picked off right there. Might be the go button right now for RSG as the creeps are funneling in through mid right now. Feather airstrike already being committed this early on, but no creeps on the tower would mean that they might not be able to take the tower after all.
Bleed going all in with the Martyrs pick right here, ladies and gents. They have to make this work. One of them offended Brayyy getting blown up to pieces, but Brayyy flickers away. RSG, what a tease! And Closer doesn't care. RSG is just teasing Bleed.
Wow, just back and forth right there. Bleed showing a lot of signs of life, but still not finding the finish onto Team RSG at this point. And we have the Moskov already picking up the 6 item slots together with the Roger as well. So both of them has hit their power spike. And RSG, they have to play a lot more safe, especially in terms of GodZilla. Yep. He has been a mosquito, yes, but if they do catch him, that might spell the end of days here for RSG.
Bring your insecticides, my friend, if you're a Bleed fan. The Lord's up right here, ladies and gents. RSG looking at it right now. And here, spots up Brayyy.
Yeah, with the Spirit Destruction, Moskov will be on the top lane duty, able to join the fight at any time, provided he lands the Spirit, of course. But still, Yon, he has picked up the Immortality, would be able to frontline a lot more better for the side of Team Bleed. And we have it here, ladies and gentlemen, the Lord Dance that might potentially spell the end of days for Bleed.
Yeah, Closer needs to make a beeline for the Lord. He needs to show himself, make sure that they have all 5 members. RSG will push back Bleed because they realize that, hey, we actually can't take a full 5-on-5 fight.
But you drag Brayyy. Brayyy goes in middle first, but will not be able to come in for that. GodZilla goes in with the further airstrike, and members from the Blood side of Bleed just have to back off. They already got what they want to do, but Seiji is down, unfortunately. Bleed right here is taking a lot of damage. Closer, just make sure that they don't run away. RSG, man, they clean up Bleed, and now they just have to go back to the Lord right here. It's a free Lord for them.
Oh, and Jay eventually gets taken down, but Closer will be trading his life in the process. Winter Truncheon being used, but will not be able to preserve his own life for long. They are going for the Lord in the background, but Sagitnu, can he do anything here?
3v3 right here, ladies and gents. Bleed looking like they don't want to go for it. CS goes for Sagitnu, and I'm offended, not connecting. GodZilla will be the one. Bleed is just walking into a wood chipper, and RSG just chipping them up.
And the decision-making from RSG, right? Despite losing Brayyy so early on with the Feather Airstrike, they still commit and went full beeline onto Seiji. The way that they were running together as a unit, it's so scary to see. The amount of momentum, the amount of team synergy that RSG has at this point. They are one unit.
They are one unit, but it's just kind of, it's one of those things where Brayyy, if he goes down, not the end of the world, right? I think they'll handle it. They have plenty of damage in CS and, you know, GodZilla as well. His feathered airstrikes have been on point this game.
Sagitnu's I'm offended is Brayy's flicker at this rate. Alright, you're dragging Brayyy right into where he wants. He wants to be up close and personal with the Minoan's Fairy, and now the beginning of the end. RSG, will it amount to this one? I'm not too sure. GodZilla goes into the feather airstrike already. Seiji working onto the Lord as well. Mid lane already cracked open by the side of RSG already, and Sagitnu, the wall built by Gear, allows Bleed for a little bit of reprieve. RSG unable to push against Bleed.
Yeah.
Gear got caught out.
Gear though, in a bit of trouble, but Brayyy, he does not want to commit on that. CS is not around to deal the damage. Still, they want this outer turret, inhibitor turret from the side of Team Bleed.
RSG Sagitnu right now. Minoan Fairy will be committed. Brayyy right here. Seiji will be trying to output the damage. Well charged right in the face. GodZilla landing on the damage. Seiji! Wind of Nature doesn't save you for the damage. Praises Wrath deals the dialing blow onto Seiji. 3 members down for the side of Bleed already. RSG, man, the high ground advantage from the side of Jay saves Bleed once again.
Yeah, having the Lilia on hand would mean that they have the better creep clear, but they have lost their main damage dealer. Seiji's not alive anymore.
GodZilla, but the airstrikes will be up any moment. They're just waiting for the time for this. Gear doesn't have the wild charge as well to kind of cancel it. GodZilla will be cancelled by the wall instead. Gear taking long punishment. Sagitnu just trying to spin for it. He has to try to wave here. Jay outputting the damage. Brayyy praises Ram, but the minions are coming in for the side of RSG. Wave after wave. And ladies and gentlemen, RSG will be going to the grand finals.
We have it here, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to RSG for taking the Loser Brackets Grand Finals 3-1 against Bleed. Extremely nail-biting series from both teams. And very well done to Team Bleed for making it this far.
What a bounce back, right? After game 1, we're kind of like, where's RSG? What is going on? and they really showed up in games 2, 3, and 4. They're just into the grand finals because of it. They are the team that you like. I think Team NIP Flash are kind of scared. Again, this is again the only team that has taken a game off of them.
Yeah, potentially they can take more games off of them, right? In the grand finals, they know what they need to do, and right now they're looking so united as a team. The way that they're playing against Team Bleed, the shot calling, the decision making, and both teams were neck and neck. And look at the respect coming through from the side of Team Bleed and Team RSG. Both teams fought their hearts out on this stage right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great showing by Team Bleed. Unfortunately, the road ends here. Top 3 is nothing to scoff about, especially in this league with how competitive things have gotten. But we're getting to the point now we're going to get into the grand finals, and we're going to talk a lot more about that here. But your thoughts, Jace, on that last game?
Man, it was a redemption arc for the side of RSG. Don't forget, they started our regular season whoopsie daisy, lopsided, and everything. There are a lot of doubts on RSG, and they're proving the doubters wrong. GG RSG.
Yeah, I gotta say, RSG are the comeback kings, right? They give up games, then afterwards, they look like they're weak at first. Then afterwards, they just find a way to come back no matter what. I got to respect their mental game here. Yeah. As an RSG fan, maybe, you have to think about whether they're down, it doesn't matter. They can come back the next game, and even if they're down in the game, it doesn't matter because they can find ways to come back. And that's what you keep looking forward to see from Team RSG. And that's why we're going to have them in the grand finals versus NIP, right? But for that previous game, who do you feel is the MVP?
I'm going to go with Brayyy.
Brayyy? How about you, Jace?
I feel like CS.
Oh, CS.
Yeah, I feel like CS. CS was actually outputting quite a lot of damage as well. But apart from that,
I gotta say GodZilla.
Yeah,
Godzilla.
Yeah,
Godzilla
coming in. But okay, go back to Brayyy.
Okay,
how does it feel, my friends? How does it feel?
but Brayyy picking up the Fredrin means that this is a new thing. This is a something that he's very comfortable with. Remember back during last season, he likes to play the Fredrin, but all of a sudden he decides to not to play the Fredrin. But at the crucial moment, especially this one, the game-ending one, the match point, he pulls out the Fredrin and shows that he is the Brayyy Fredrin that we know and love.
Yeah, and RSG, they are so scary right now. So much versatility coming out from Brayyy. He was on the Roger the previous game, and now we see him on the tank meta back to the jungling Fredrin that we know and love. And of course, on the first game, he was on the Alpha as well. So there was so much versatility coming out from this guy. And from every single one of these players, it's to the point where the meta has evolved and we see so many different combinations available in the current meta.
Man, I'm really glad to see Brayyy on this Fredrin. That's what I'm just thinking right now. Just this kid has probably gotten so much hate in the last season. He's finally stepping back up. He's going back to the grand finals with and without the original RSG members.
I love it. I love it. That's the storyline, right? That's the way. I think that there could not have been a better story for him. He's definitely earned it, considering all of those wins are because he's played very well in all of them. So props to Brayyy for getting himself back into the grand finals. I think it'd be amazing if they to maybe look at like maybe an upset in the grand finals.
Oh, potential upset might be coming. I mean, he is going up against a lot of his former teammates after all, Diablo being one of them. So that we will see. But of course, let's just find out what RSG has to say in the mic check segment.
Nice, yes!
Nice, yes! I lost position already. Gear, careful, gear. Careful shot.
I did.
Don't prepare. I'm blow.
Pick up Ubi. Let me back. Yeah, I cover Devi.
SG die.
Hey, I'm not range. Okay, we slowly back.
Go. Hey, just go lock. Hey, Seiji no parry. Seiji no parry, ah.
Yup, got it.
Fighting guys, 2 dragon guys, we win guys.
Carry in.
0 plus.
Play. He got S2.
I got it.
Hey, get. Carry missing.
Nice one, Eri!
Nice one.
Hello!
I stop the Tigo. Okay, gear. Yeah. Push.
Hey, go guys!
Nothing ready.
Go guys!
No carry. Slowly, cash, slowly.
I want to run!
Knockout.
Yeah, I think I.
Rata.
Idea.
Santai, guys.
Oh, can I clear top?
What you want? There's no farming, bro.
Hey, Moscow.
Yeah, down.
I stand.
Nice!
Hey, no Moscow.
Moscow. I just ulti back. It's okay, I can try.
Take out.
I go people.
Okay, go.
I got people also. Yeah, bottom.
Nice one, CS. Slowly, back. Slowly. Team me, Moscow, team me.
Hey, Bati, nice!
Hey, back. Slowly. Moscow. Nice one, boy.
Wow.
Aspiring scenes from the side of Team RSG right there. I mean, just look at the communication coming through from that team, right? You see that slowly, it just evolved into like, we all are saying the same thing. Lord.
It was like a hive mind. Everybody was saying the same stuff.
Like, this is a very different RSG as compared to what we heard in day one of playoffs, right? Like, you can felt like Brayyy started to speak even more, closer, also taking the calls. Brayyy was just screaming in his regular rap sense, right?
But of course, we do have the itemizations out from the side of Team Bleed and RSG. I mean, if you look from the side of CS, he did go for the Windtalker first, into the Endless Battle, into the BOD as well, and the Great Dragon Spear, Malefic Roar on top of that, cherry on the cake. But this is a very, very early game to mid-game control kind of build-up, right? Going for the Windtalker into the Endless Battle, you want to take control of the game as much as possible, and Brayyy just enabled that. So with Brayyy available, with GodZilla on the Feather Airstrike available on the backline as well, Brayyy was dying, no problem. If Brayyy dies, no problem. We still have so much damage, so much control. Feather Airstrike available in the back line. Brayyy would have the energy eruption into Appraisal's Wrath, and closer, he can play backline as much as he wants because he's not dying.
Yeah, he's definitely not dying. I mean, look at CS right there. Look at his net worth. 2K over Seiji. I mean, he's 604. Anybody that got near him, he would just blow up. He would just destroy. Obviously, GodZilla was amazing with the feathered airstrikes, the amount of zoning that he had. But Brayyy, again, just a tanky frontliner with Closer, who died many, or who potentially could have died many times, but just managed to stay alive throughout most of those team fights or the gank attempts by Bleed. RSG playing very, very strong.
Yeah, and the belief, right, into Yon's Martis onto Bleed, going for it once again, still wanting to find some form of redemption for Yon, but still, Seiji, he did put up a very good fight.
Yeah.
In terms of just outputting the damage, but it was not enough. Closer was too far gone. And at the point, what can you do against an Esmeralda? Jay, you can deal as much chip damage as possible. Seiji, you can deal as much chip damage as possible. But there is no permanent solution. If Sagitnu just uses I'm Offended onto Brayyy, onto Brayyy, onto Closer, that's not the target you want. There's going to be a Minoan Fury. There's going to be an energy eruption.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I agree with you. Like right now, if you notice, RSG, this is a front line that you don't want to pull in, right? So I was thinking maybe the Yuzhong is a lot better in this particular draft because you just have to deny GodZilla. But maybe because they don't want to overthink it, right? They already have gear on the wild charge to kind of deny and kind of stop GodZilla from doing the feather airstrike. But in this particular game and the previous game as well, GodZilla has proven to be a menace.
On the Kadita, on the Farsa as well, and we saw him playing the Farsa as well, right? It was against a Yuzhong, actually, of Sagitnu, and it proved that it wasn't the answer, right? The Bleed could not find the answer to the Farsa currently, and would NIP Flash be able to stop RSG's drafting and banning patterns here? I mean, they seem like they have a lot of versatility, and just looking at the emblems right now, Seiji just going for the common emblem, of course, going for the sustainability, and CS wanting to win the lane as much as possible, which he did. And with that winning of the lane, he managed to get a lot of map control. That's what I like from the side of RSG. Winning the lane is not enough if the enemy gold laner is able to farm back up, able to play a macro game. But RSG, they took complete control of the map.
something interesting coming out from CG this time. Remember a period of time when CG went for a slightly more defensive kind of emblem, even though when he's playing the Moskov, this one he's actually going in on Ham. The Master Assassin coming back, the Thrill coming back as well. He really wants to go in and kill, but CS somehow find the win. We talk about a lot of this matchups right here. We talk about the mid lane matchup between Jay and also GodZilla. Brayyy against Yon as well. Don't forget, Yon is actually an inspiring jungle from the side of Singapore to kind of replace Brayyy once he actually retires. And you also talk about like how, you know, Derry's redemption arc in a sense, and also Brayy's redemption arc. Derry has always ended, his team always ended in 5th and 6th. This is the first time he has tasted Grand Finals, and you can see how fired up it is in the previous game.
Yeah, and very interesting emblem choice from the side of Gear, right? Going for the Brave Smite instead of the Concussive Blast on the Grok that we usually see. I mean, forming some form of sustain as well. Very interesting choice to go for this. Not fighting for these early objectives might have proven to be one of the key ending factors of Team Bleed.
You talked about it earlier in the game, about how Bleed really didn't have that catch, right? And I think it kind of showed in this one, where they were not able to kind of lock them down. They had some great gank attempts, they had some nice ambushes set up, but they never really able to capitalize on that. And that was kind of like, it's very frustrating. You're not getting the farm, you're not getting anything out of it, so you're wasting a lot of time, and you're just letting RSG get even bigger.
Yeah, the catch is not the frontline catch that you want, it's the backline catch that you want. The GodZilla was the biggest problem that Bleed wasn't able to capitalize on. Sagitnu wasn't able to reach there. So if Sagitnu wasn't able to reach there, GodZilla could just land 1 or 2 strikes and that's it. And sometimes, if you notice, RSG will start to fight with GodZilla. Just land 1 or 2 strikes, Seiji is already half HP. What do you do as Bleed? You have to back off.
Yeah, Gear being the sandbag with the Brave Smite emblem, of course, he was able to take a lot of damage away for Team Bleed, but yeah, they were just lacking the catch factor, right? They cannot deal the damage. And look at the side of total heal coming out for RSG at this point. 347,000 total heal compared to 104,000 from the side of Team Bleed. They were not able to sustain the fight. You don't have to catch, you don't have to burst. You can deal as much chip damage as you want. But Derry is always there with the heal, closer can sustain. And just not enough.
Yeah, if you take a look at the total damage dealt as well, Bleed was struggling to land down the damage as well. So that's also something of a very big problem. Apart from that, if you notice, Closer was also just regenerating like nobody's business. Don't forget, Fredrin also one tanky boy. Minotaur can heal as well. Once he also had a photo as well. So which means that he's going to heal and provides even more shields. Yeah. And Closer loves shields. You want to catch GodZilla? Sure, I'll just wing my wings, stay in the wall, and all of a sudden those bombs that Lilia planted is just useless.
And with that, RSG takes the series. They will be up against an IP Flash later. So, this is going to be a crazy, crazy match to watch. And of course, our grand finals will be a best of 7.
It's going to be a marathon once again, ladies and gents.
In for a tough ride, a long ride here. But before that, once again, there's the QR code on the top left of the screen. And if you're live here, you can look at the QR code as well. Do help us improve MPLSG. We do want to make the event bigger and better for you guys. And for those of you guys that are coming down live, you can come down to Scape as well to catch the grand finals. That will be happening later today between NIP Flash and Team RSG.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that one, and that one's going to be crazy. That was going to be later today, so the players are going to take a little bit of a break. We're not going to force them to play their games right away, so they have a little bit of a time to kind of rest up, get some strategy in mind. I mean, I mean, they're going to probably want to do a little bit of strategy as well.
That's right.
I'm sure they've done some research on those teams, but it's going to be very interesting in that grand finals.
Yeah, but before all that, right, we did have Bleed, and we did have Bleed just being taken out right now. They were one of our favorites, but still, congratulations on making it this far, top 3. And let's just see what our analyst, Professor Churros, has to say about the previous game.
Prof. Churros here saying, what a series it has been, especially for RSG, really showing us their growth right from the regular season towards that first game. And there has always been sort of like this RSG trend where in the first match of the entirety of any series, they would kind of lose and get their momentum back up, and then they will suddenly just win again. And this is a really, really good showcase of the fundamentals that we kind of all forget when all those new unorthodox picks comes into Mobile Legends. So let's start off with the draft first. For the side of Bleed, though, the only thing that they're lacking is range, which is basically what RSG has been drafting towards with the Farsa pick right here. So you have Seiji, one of the shortest range marksmen, so to speak, within a lot of the other marksman pools. And you have the entirety of Bleed, really tanky lineup, very geared up, no pun intended, for close range or zonal engages. But that's not enough because of RSG's one Farsa able to dismantle the entire zonal control that Bleed wants to build. So in this case, we see how Seiji was able to just head on over to the long lane, away from that Lord, try to alleviate some pressure from the side of Bleed, but you have Closer with very fast movement speed, decent wave clear, able to just go up, but no commitment towards that long side, just because of the fact that they don't have vision on where the rest of the team members are, especially not from Brayyy or even Closer. So they want to keep Seiji alive for as long as possible. He's still 1-0-1 at this point. This is the second Lord of the game, or first Lord of the game, so to speak. So moving on, second Lord of the game, so to speak. So we're moving on to these fights where we see GodZilla just trying to understand where everyone is at all times, using Brayyy and Dairy as sort of like these meat blocks, trying to check for vision anywhere. You have Dairy trying to put himself at the front line, trying to get Bleed to sort of like take that bait, catch that worm, and catch Dairy off position, where he doesn't really need to use his crowd controls. He just needs to tank that damage. Enough time for you have Closer over here trying to come down towards that long lane towards the skirmishes, and you have Brayyy starting off with that Lord as well. So everything already used up by Dairy, everything already used up by the side of Bleed onto Dairy. Closer is already in position. You have the rest of Bleed waiting for rest of RSG waiting for Bleed to just use up their ultimates, use up all of their skills. You have GodZilla just to zone everyone out of there, and everyone just sounds the horns, goes in. So really well played by RSG. And I remember that one time that we were saying, hey, RSG going into the grand finals, will it be different? Will it not happen? Will it not be true? Just because of the fact that Brayyy doesn't have Diablo right now. So I really want to find out what Cheryl has to say in their interview.
Thank you so much, Prof, for that insight. Right now, despite audiences' predictions, we have RSG SG making it over to the grand finals, baby! Now, this is, what we're kind of used to. RSG SG, and then you see Team Flash again in the grand finals. So, what will you guys do differently this time around?
For this match, I think all of us just told ourselves that we can do it, and we just ignore all the negativity from other people. And through all the trainings and all, we spend a lot of time working together to build our chemistry. So we believe that we can just surprise everybody, and yeah, we did.
Right. So for Pacifist as coach, how will you approach this game? It is basically you are guiding these boys to rewrite their history, because this was a rematch of what happened in grand finals for last season. What will you bring to the table to lead them to victory?
I think I really did my best in bringing out everyone's strengths in the team, like what they want to play, how they want to play the game. I made sure like everything was cohesive and worked well together. Make sure the draft makes sense. That's what I mainly did for the team. Yeah.
Right. And this time round, it is unexpected, rather, to have you guys come to the grand finals, because after all, you guys were the third seed in the regular season. So coming to this, I think there is a lot at stake, all right, when it comes to, proving RSG SG back again on the main stage. And now this time round, it's not just proving yourself, but over on the other hand, you guys have ex-teammates, Lousy, Diablo, going over to Team Flash. How will you anticipate going up the next game here?
Honestly, for me, since they were my ex-teammate, I kind of have no, how do I say this? Any hate or any beef against them. So let's say even if they do some trash talk or what to me, I just take it as like friends, like for fun and all. So all this talking and all, I just laugh it off lah. So I'm happy to go against them again because yesterday I didn't really perform very well. So I will try my best today to get my redemption back.
To Adam and Lozzie, I'm finally here at the grand finals with you all. So let's have a great grand final.
Wow, I think for everyone right here on the side of RSG SG, there is a certain degree of vendetta. For Brayyy, you want to prove yourselves, right? It's your redemption arc. And then for Pacifist, it's time to prove yourself as well in terms of strategy, right? And then for, CS, Closer, all these wonderful players, this is their time to show that they have taken the back seat in RSG SG for the longest time ever. And right now they're playing on the main stage against ex-teammates. How will you think grand finals will turn out? You predict your own score, Ken. Predict your own score.
I predict. Okay, this time predict Flash win RSG.
You predict Flash win RSG?
Yeah, because that time I predict myself win, then now need to predict they win. So they 4-1 us. Not we 4-1 them.
Reverse psychology. So you predict them 4-1 you.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will turn out the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. Pacifist as coach, how do you read this?
I wouldn't be a coach if I think the enemy team will win. So I have to put my trust in my own teammates.
Numbers. Best of 7, how far it will go?
All the way 7 games, 4-3 RSG.
4-3 RSG. Okay, interesting. So, one for the last hurrah. I'm not sure if I'll get to see you, and I hope I will. What do you have to say to your fans out there?
For me, I would like to say thank you to all the RSG fans for supporting us throughout this season because despite the roster changes and all, you all were still here to support us, which is really boost our morale. So because we know that a lot of the people didn't really believe that we can do it. So I'm really happy that you all stood by us still, and yeah, just thank you.
Pacifist.
I'm gonna be honest, I think nobody really believed in us. So I don't think we have much fans, but here we are. We'll just give our best and give you all a good show.
That's right. There's nowhere but up right now for RSG SG. Congratulations on your win and making over to the grand finals, guys. All the best later, and may the best team win.
Thank you.
All right, wow, that was intense. Definitely a surprise turnout of events when RSG SG took the game, which gives them that ticket to head on over to grand finals to allow themselves that chance to rewrite history. It's absolutely crazy, guys. We're going to be seeing a rematch, a repeat of what happened in MPLSG Season 6 Grand Finals earlier. So this is something that you definitely don't want to miss. Stick around and join us for this redemption arc of RSG SG coming up at 5 p.m. later.
A crispier chicken leg crispy? So much crispier. Bite into an even crispier crunch with the improved Chicken McCrispy. Now, wouldn't that be nice? A crispier Chicken McCrispy? So much crispier. Bite into an even crispier crunch with the improved Chicken McCrispy. Now, wouldn't that be nice?